listening to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
And we're back. Welcome back, Leatherhead Nation, to the greatest podcast of all time, the Gettin Salty Experience podcast. We bring it all the kitchen table shenanigans right to you. I come up with a new line. I'm getting tired of that one. I'm going to come up with something else. Yeah, I think so. I'm going to think on it.
Tradition? No tradition?
I like tradition, but yeah, every now and again, you got to mix it up. I'm going to come up with something else.
Yeah, showbiz, you know, got to change it up a little.
Showbiz. There's no business like show business. Yeah, come up with something else. But this is still self-proclaimed best podcast in the whole wide world. Yep. Even coming from the lake, you know, we sometimes we're at the lake, sometimes we're in a hallway. You never know where we're going to be.
I'm at the lake.
You are at the lake. All right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're hunting. You know, it's.
How's your week been, Lou?
Where in the wide world is Louis Rafrano? That's what we're going to play.
Very nice. The kids like it. It's good. It's pretty close to the house. It's only about a half hour away, so it's pretty good.
Oh, that's nice.
It's not really a vacation. You only go half hour away.
We used to go up to Lake George. It's like 3 hours and change. And when I wake up and look out the window and there's a lake, like Greenwood Lake is right here. It's a lake.
There you go.
Same thing. So
maybe if you drove around the block a couple of hundred times and then just went right there, it would seem like you're going far away, right? You got one of those paddle boats, you know, you paddle in the water.
I got a kayaker. No
paddle boats.
Nice.
What about fishing? Nice. Doing any fishing?
I've been fishing.
Catch anything?
Yeah, a couple of smallmouths.
Oh.
McVeigh wants me to give him my address.
Not happening. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going fishing tomorrow.
Where you going?
Yeah, I'm going for little blues, you know.
Your lady?
Yep. My sister, Rabbit, they're going. Rabbit.
Rabbit. I'm in a bit, Rabbit.
They're going. We're going to have a good time. Because every once in a while, you got to relax, you know, bud. Can't work all the time.
I've heard this. Somebody talks about that a lot.
I don't know who does that. Somebody does.
Relax? Yeah. Who relaxes?
Oh, not me. Working. We got a good, you know, sometimes in the pre-show, you could tell when a guy's got some good stories. This gentleman's got some really good stories. Been some great shops. We're going to find out how he got there. I don't think it was the luck of the draw, is what I'm saying. I think it was, you know what I'm saying, Ruffy? How we got to those places.
Good number for the show, too, by the way.
103. We're on the 103rd
Hey, episode. Right. That's right.
So why not have the captain of 103? Yeah.
I think this is the 103rd? I think this is the 102nd episode, my friends.
No, Pete, shut your pie hole. It's the 103rd.
Aren't you the producer?
He was in 102.
Nah, he was 103. Yeah. Listen, you got to have.
It was 102. The old man.
And every once in a while, you got to have busy places, and then you got to go to places that are, you know, middle of the road type of slow. So that's why we're going with the 103rd episode tonight. And we're going to find. I really want to find out the whole mystique from a guy who was the captain of 103. Is it all smoke and mirrors? Is it all folk tale? Is it all? Or is it real?
Good.
Is it folk tale passed around? You know, 103, 103, or is it really? We'll find out for sure.
You know what I just
We're
realized?
going to clear it up. We're going to clear it up tonight.
We need to come out with a name for our chat. Like, you know how Howard Stern has a whack pack?
Yeah.
We need like the chat pack or something like that.
Nitwits. How about nitwits?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not in the
how about the hard tods?
I don't know. We'll come up with the name.
I don't have to say that. I forgot.
I just want to say what's up to everybody in the chat right now. Everyone's been they all been here for a while. QC and my boy Frankie Sutphin, and who else is in here tonight?
How about the yellow bus chat?
Mike Kelly, the yellow bus, the yellow bus. I like a little bit of alliteration here.
Like a little bit of rhyming.
Yellow bus.
Fire frogs. Listen, come up with something, throw it out there, and the winner gets something. Louis will send you something.
Yeah, I'll send you something.
What's up, you Disney?
Yeah, I'll send you a tip. Stay out of the stock market. How about that?
Yeah.
It's not bottomed out yet. Yeah. Don't worry. It will soon.
And I'll give you another tip. If Pete tells you to buy Bitcoin, it's way past the time that you're going to make money, bro. Don't.
I'm not.
I'm not
I'm not buying any Bitcoin either, dudes. I'll tell you that much.
Douche coin,
I own
whatever they
Doge
want.
though.
Doge, whatever it is.
I got it. I got it cheap. I don't care. That thing's
If
gonna,
Pete
that
comes
thing's
to you
gonna
and
blow
says,
up.
I'm gonna blow up. I'm gonna be a gazillionaire on Dogecoin.
Listen,
Go the other way.
the Short Bus Gang says Todd Swansby. By the way, Short Bus Gang in the chat. I like that.
Did the chief hang up yet? Did he hang up?
He looks like he's having a bit of a hard time dealing with us because, you know.
All right, Pete. So let's do it. You know.
Yeah, tonight we're just doing our short reads, guys. So bear with me for a minute. This is how we support ourselves. Guys, gettingsaltyapparel.com. You know the deal. You get cool hats like this, or Mr. Ruffy's t-shirt right there, or you can get tumblers and glasses and Hearst Tool nail clippers for crying out loud.
I should have brought them out the other night. I didn't even bust them out.
That's all right. We don't need any patent infringements. Right. You know what I mean? Ming, yeah. All right. So, guys, gettingsaltyapparel.com. You know the deal.
You know what else we have, you cheap bastards?
Oh, my God.
You asked me to order these. Pull in case of emergency underwear. Fruit of the Loom, quality. Pull in case of emergency. Underpants. Get them. Will you?
Underpants? Who says underpants?
Yeah, that, and we got the other underpants. We got the other drawers right here. It says,
pack hose.
Get salty apparel, dry and repack hose when finished.
Now we had to hang up. I would hang up.
Get it. All right, go ahead.
You'll be the talk of the Firehouse if you get those. I guarantee you.
Walk around in your drawers.
Yeah. All right. So you guys, that's it. Gettingsaltyapparel.com. That's one way we pay the bills. The other way we pay the bills around here is the super chat. So if you're watching live, why not throw us a few shekels? You guys are our number one sponsors. You know the deal. Hit us up in that bottom right corner. I believe there is a little dollar sign with a heart next to it. Tap on that. Whatever you want to throw us, it doesn't matter. You guys are the best. We can't get by without the support of our audience. And if you're watching this post-mortem, you guys can always hit us up in the super thanks, which is just like the super chat, only not when we're live. Okay. So that's it, guys. If you can help us out, support the show. And that's it. That's it for tonight, boys. Yeah. Quick one tonight, boys.
Our guest too tonight comes from a family of firefighters who continued on a family of firefighters. It's like blue bloods. We'll call them red bloods.
Oh, hold on. I hate to interrupt you, but the Short Bus Gang may just be called the Hose Packers, according to Gonzo.
Hose Packers. I like it.
Hose Packers, because it's a little, it's a little firefighter-y, and it's also a little gay. So.
Whoa! You're not allowed to say that, bro. What are you talking about?
What do you mean? I want us to have a little bit of LGBTQ for Pride.
All right. Darren DeFries. I'm glad your wife's coming home from the hospital. God bless. We'll say a couple of prayers.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Pete, bring him in. Bring in the guest. Bring him in. Captain, hello. Captain Jack will get you high tonight. Let's bring in Chief Jack Mooney. Here he is. He hasn't left yet. He's still there.
That's the assistant chief for you punk ass.
What? Who's a punk ass? Why would you call the chief that when he comes in the room like that? That's terrible. What did you just say? You calling me a punk ass?
Chief, do me a favor. There you go. I was just going to ask you to do that. You're looking great. Okay. Welcome to the show, Chief.
Welcome to the show. He almost disconnected and ran out of the room, but he's still here. But Pete, before we get to the chief and his illustrious career, we got to do what we always do.
Everybody, you know the deal. We are one of the most patriotic shows on the web. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Great job.
Nice.
All right. Let's get it out there for the alcoholics too in the show tonight, Pete. So before we go any further, hit them up with the word of the day.
You guys are in a lot of trouble. This is kind of like second only to calling the word of the day fire. The word of the day tonight is gentlemen.
Oh, all right.
Chief Gentleman Jack.
Gentleman Jack. Chief, let's let's go back a little bit. Pre-78 when you got appointed. Where'd you grow up? Where's the influence come to be a fireman? Would you have family on the fire department, or were you volley? Where were you from? Give us a
Okay,
little
I grew up in Jamaica, Queens, 90th Avenue between 172 and 175. My best friend growing up, Ed Hotchkiss, his dad was a fireman in 222. And as far back as I can remember, playing over in his basement, playing with his dad's old gear and all, it was always that kind of an influence. And there were a lot of firemen in the neighborhood too.
So that's where it came from. Did he get on the job too, your buddy? Or
No, he didn't. He became a customs agent. Go figure, right?
Passport stamper.
That's how it was for me too. Although I didn't think 1,000% I was going to be a fireman, but when I know Kev since I'm about 10, and obviously going over his house all the time, it was the same thing. It was boots and talking about fires all the time.
Yeah,
Pictures
it's true.
all the time.
Definitely true. But then I went to college, and in college, I got into like marketing degree type. I was going to be a big businessman, but I meet my wife, and her father was a deputy chief at the time, and her brother would come on the job before me. Her brother-in-law was a fireman, and I started to see that whole.
Oh, you got sucked right in.
Yeah, and I was the odd man out. You know what I mean?
At Thanksgiving, who the hell wants to talk?
Yeah. Right.
He's not even a fireman. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. How about Thanksgiving dinner? Yeah, I went to this Turtle Arm the other day, and Jack, how's that accounting going? Is it,
how many times you sharpen your pencil, Jack?
Yeah. How many pencils do you sharpen, Jack, before you go to work in the morning?
Yeah. It's funny. My parents never pushed me towards civil service. They came out of the Depression. My father was in the phone company, and after World War II, and all of his, buddies who went to college at night, they all rose up to the rank of the phone company. So he saw college as the way to go, not civil service.
Right.
Not that he dissuaded me, but he just didn't see it like that. And then years later, I'm sorry. I'm a staff chief now, and I'm talking to my mom one day. She's like almost 90, and she had this uncle, Jimmy the banker, that you used to talk about all the time, right? And I never met him. He passed before I was born. And then she goes, I said, why didn't you steer us to finance? And she goes, why? I said, well, Jimmy the banker, you had a finance guy. She goes, Jimmy the banker? He was a bank guard. I said, he was? He says, yeah, he was a fireman for 20 years. Then he became a bank guard. Bank guard, Jimmy Clark, the bank. I never knew I had it in my.
See that?
Oh my God, that's awesome!
Thank God for Jimmy the banker.
Yeah, thank God.
Jimmy the banker. What college did you go to, Chief?
St. John's.
Oh, that's where my wife went too.
Yeah, so did mine. That's where I met.
That's where my son went for about 3 semesters. C's and D's weren't cutting it, and that was it.
Were they the Redmen back
They were the
then?
Redmen back then. Yes, sir.
You were allowed to say that back then, right?
Yeah, yes, you were.
I'm saying it.
So did you finish school and then take the test? You took the test while you were going to school?
No, I finished, and I got out in 75.
Right.
And had a few jobs. In 77, I got a job with Liberty Mutual Insurance, but in their loss prevention department. Basically, I was a safety inspector for them. You owned an apartment house and you had fire insurance with Liberty Mutual. I'd come inspect your building, write a report to the underwriter, and they decide whether to renew your insurance or not based on my report. A 24-year-old kid telling whatever. Yeah. UPS, Lord, tells. I liked the job. But then the fire department came along. It was kind of a tough decision, but it was the right decision to go.
Pete, show up that little memorabilia we got of the 77 test that the chief hung on to.
Yeah, well, even before that, there was some other inspiration there, but we get into that story. But hold on. Let me share this screen. Here it is. Bing. This is the actual test.
Here it is.
Look at that thing. Examination 3040. That's the famous. That's the famous one. Is that the one where the women challenged it? That test?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So you must have been early. You must have been one of the first classes then, right? 78.
The first class. Right.
Must have been in good shape too, because that was a tough physical.
Yeah, it was a crazy physical, but we worked out for it. You knew what it was ahead of time. You went to all those practice sessions at the Armory and all that.
Well, Pudgy Walsh.
Pudgy, I did go to Pudgy Walsh. Yeah, I did once.
Yeah.
Wow, he was doing that fucking far back, huh?
Yeah. And the Delahanty's and the Delahanty thing to take the test, right? Is that
Yep, we
Delahanty?
did that too to practice the test. Yep.
Yeah.
You did all of that, but you wanted the job, so you were pushing hard to do the best you
Exactly.
can.
Yeah.
And everybody was saying that you got to score well in order to actually get on the list, but actually get hired. You got to get up there on the top of the list.
Very
Like all of
competitive. Yeah. Tens of thousands. I don't remember how many people try.
And
40, 50, 60,000 people turn out for that test, something like that.
Mine was 40,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think they hired over the course of that list 7,000.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
That's not a good ratio. I bet you had to be a gentleman to do.
Oh.
All right.
So, Chief, also, besides being that, you had a little more inspiration than the average bear, right? Because of this situation.
Oh yeah, great job.
Well, yes. I mean, I didn't know about this. This is the plane crash in 1960 where the two planes collided over Brooklyn. It's actually 4th Avenue. I don't know the cross street. But in the dead center there, the silhouette shot is the Lieutenant Rescue 2. That's Roger Rodriguez. He's my father-in-law. Well, would be my father-in-law someday. He's 36 years old in that picture.
Wow.
And if you look to the left, you see the captain of 102 there. That's Tom Carter. Now, both of these guys, they came on the job not knowing each other. Somewhere in the course of their career, they become great friends. But they were both World War II U.S. Marine Corps South Pacific guys.
Holy
salt of the earth individuals. Salt of the earth.
Tough, right? Tougher than tough.
You know what was great about no bravado? They were just solid individuals. Great,
Right.
Great inspiration. But here they are at this horrific site. And a couple of days later, the both of them, Rescue 2 and 102, were at the Constellation aircraft carrier fire in the Navy, dealing with the same mess. Same mess, basically.
What year did your father-in-law get in?
He got on in 47.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, so he's like 13 years on the job there, rescuing.
Where was he? Where was he a fireman?
He was in 258 engine, and he did like 8 years there, and then he took a detail to Rescue 2. And then
From 258 engine?
To Rescue 2, right. Back then, the rescues would go around doing drills at different firehouses, looking for people that they could bring over to rescue. That's how they found the guys that come in.
That's cool.
And that's how he ended up there. And he just kept re-upping his detail until he got promoted lieutenant.
So he was never really assigned there, or he just was on a detail?
No, he was. He actually, as a lieutenant, he's assigned the 5th lieutenant to 102, but never worked there except on never worked there. He covered around, and then he got himself assigned to Rescue 2. And he was there for 4 years before making captain.
You must have had some good Thanksgivings talking about some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? Those guys didn't talk.
They don't talk about it, right?
He wanted to, you know what I mean? He never talked about the war.
I was going to say, most of those guys never even talked about the war.
Right?
No, never did. And Tom Carter, he was a lieutenant in 102, got demoted back to fireman because he was too young to take the entrance exam. And when they found that out, he's already a lieutenant on the captain's list. They demoted him back to fireman. He fights it. He gets promoted. He ends up being the captain of 102 also.
Wow.
That's something, right?
That happened to my brother. He got thrown off. He was in probie school, and he got hurt in probie school.
Really?
And somebody looked at his application, and he had taken it. What do you have to be, 16 3/4 or something?
17 and a half.
Or 17 and a half. Yeah, he was. My father said, just take it. Nobody will find out. Nobody will find out.
Eventually did.
They
Which
did.
one was that?
My brother didn't get No, my brother didn't get on the job. My other brother.
Oh.
I have 3 brothers. My 2 brothers got on.
Okay.
And then there's this right here. This guy.
Yep. Real deal.
What now? When you met your wife, so you weren't a fireman yet. So you met her father. He was a fireman, right?
Correct.
And you said her uncle was a fireman.
Her brother-in-law.
Oh, her brother-in-law. Right.
And in a couple of months, in 77, her brother got on, a year ahead of me.
So her brother got on.
So your brother-in-law, soon to be brother-in-law.
Right, my 2 brother-in-laws, right.
No shit.
They were already fine. Yeah, Mark Anderson, the brother-in-law, he was in 218. He got laid off and got back on. And Lee Rodriguez, he went to 105.
Wow.
That's a good shot.
Doing work.
Mark's first tour. Mark's first tour, he had 2 second alarms and an all hands. This is in '73. No mask.
Holy
He goes,
shit.
what the fuck did I do? Bushwick was burning like crazy back in
Oh my,
1973.
218. Those guys were all those
Oh my
companies.
God.
Were like 230, right? 218,
Oh, man,
217. All those companies were rocking. 237. All those companies in that area.
was.
Single engines.
Yeah.
27,
Bushwick
217.
Yep. Yeah, crazy time. My
So
first time. Oh, go ahead.
No, yeah, Chief.
My first time in a firehouse, Mark had been laid off, right? And what did the guys do? They, I think 1,600 guys got laid off. Fine. Same thing with the cops, probably more. But anyway, each firehouse took care of their laid off guys. They booked up and they were giving them cash. So when his Mark's son, who was 3, just got diagnosed with cancer too. So it was a bad time. And so the guy from the firehouse calls Mark to say, we got an envelope for you. And this is like the 3rd one. And he's feeling very guilty taking money like that because everybody's hurting. And so anyway, he asked me, would I ride in with him? I'm 21. And sure, I'd never been in a firehouse. So we go to 18 and it's at night. They invite us for dinner. It's a little firehouse. Right behind the apparatus floor is the kitchen and TV room, or one room. If it's still the same, I'm not sure. On the right side was the kitchen area. On the left side with the 2 couches and the television. The firemen are all at the kitchen area, and on the couch were 4 cops. This is like 10 o'clock at night. In the Bushwick is going nuts, right? And it was like a strange dynamic. At first, I thought they worked together. They didn't work together. It was just the cops would not eat. They didn't, they just wanted to chill for a little bit. Very strange, very uncomfortable. It was like I felt so bad for all of them, especially Mark. But whatever. But
How long was he laid off for?
18 months.
And did he come back? Did he go back to 218?
No, they put him in 253. And then, which is the single engine down in Bensonhurst, I believe.
I think it is Bensonhurst, yeah.
Yeah, and then he transferred, a couple of years then he transferred to 275. And he was there for a bunch of years. And then he transferred to 251. He was only in single engines his whole career.
Wow.
And then he retired. Yeah.
That was a nice little rocking place down there, though.
275?
Yeah, that'd be a great place. 1075. Single engine over there. No trucks around at the time before 133 was in there.
It was before the truck, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice firehouse, yeah.
I think actually 218 too. They had a squad in there. They turned that to a squad for a little while. 218. I have to look at my notes, but I think 218 was a squad, and then they put it back to being an engine after a while.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know.
Chief, we had on Kirk Lester, and
right.
he was up in
43.
He was up in the Bronx, and he was only on a short time. He got, laid off, and he said that was the first time he ever felt what it was like to belong to the Brotherhood, where the guys every week. There were 4 guys in that house, if I remember the story right. 3 or 4 guys that the guys paid. And again, like you said, this was the 70s, man. Everything was in the toilet, and these guys were collecting money, making sure these guys got paid. That is unheard of. It's
amazing.
It's
we still do it, right?
Yeah.
And what did the fireman make back then? Like $7,000 or something?
Yeah, it was nothing
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the brothers for you.
Well, that's what that makes me feel proud. Like every time I hear a story like that, maybe the guys now at 218 today, they don't even know that went on. These guys were taking care of their own, for a guy who was only there.
Right. A year and a half.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to say, oh, I got my job, you don't got your job,
Yeah.
For them to do that, especially with the kid, having cancer and everything.
Right. Yeah. Tough time, but we got through it.
So you get called 78, you get appointed, right, Chief?
Yes.
92, 78, and you get assigned to 221. So at the time, you said, were you married yet? Was he your father-in-law yet? He was.
No, I was married, yeah.
So
I got married in 75.
So he sent you to 221? He didn't want to, what? Yeah.
No, it was to get, Tom Carter, the guy in the picture there, right?
Yeah.
He kept telling Roger, you got to get him to 102. You got to get him to 102 because Captain Harry Rogers was Captain 102. Stellar individual, solid, a 105 fireman. All these guys are 105 firemen. Carter, Dennis Cross, and Dennis Cross is Lieutenant 102. So he kept pushing we got to get him to 102. Well, they couldn't, so they got me into the battalion, 3-4 battalion. Well, it was good. 221
I
and
was going to say
104.
221 in the 70s, probably doing pretty
Yeah,
good.
Awesome.
yeah, they were doing work.
It took him a long
You know,
time to get his first job,
Yeah.
It
We
was
have that. We have that
like,
ticket.
221. I'm like, dude, the guy wasn't even in there 3 minutes. You know what I mean? Come on.
a little more than 3.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
good. The
People-
day that you graduate, oh, you're bringing it up? Right.
First fire, 1075 on your first tour. What was it? What time would it come in, Pete? I can't see.
2,200 hours, 4 hours later.
Right.
Yeah.
My first run on my first tour, it was the first job. I had the backup as a probie would. The day
Right.
before, when I dropped my gear off after probie school, and I met the guys, it was like 11:30. Al Benjamin, I don't know if you know that guy.
Yeah, Big Al.
Al, he was on the watch. He was in 104. He had a little over a year on the job. And he said, you're in Lieutenant Cashman's groups. And that's great because you'll be amazed at how fast you get the nozzle with him. And so we go in, Lieutenant Cashman's working this night, it's the following night to a Saturday night. And we get the run. And it's a 3-story tenement, store on the first floor vacant, and it's blowing out the store. So stretch the line, and you couldn't get closer than the curb because of the fire coming out. And Sammy Roman, 15 years on the job in 221, he's got the nozzle. We flake it out to get behind him. And Cashman says, "Are you ready?" And Sammy goes, "Yeah." He says, "All right, give the probie the nozzle. Let's see what he can do." And Sammy's like, "Are you serious?" He says, "Give him the nozzle. Let's see what he can do." He said, "All right, Lou." So we switch. He calls for water. It almost knocks me over, right? I bleed it. And now I'm just sitting there. And Cashman goes, "Well, will you open the line?" I open the line. I didn't know what to do. I'm tracing the windows with it's like I never, probie school, you don't put out fire like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we knock it down and we move up to the door. And it's one of those typical glass fronts where the door is inset a little bit.
Yeah.
So we get up to the door and Cashman says, wait. Keep the line up high. I want to feel if there's a floor. So I got the line, and as he goes past me, I must have dropped it a little, and boom, I shoot his helmet right into the fire.
Oh,
He
no.
looks at me with that soaking head like, and with that, Sammy Roman slides over me. He says, "I got it, Lou." And he goes all the way in till I just see the soles of his boots, and then he backs out. He's got the helmet, puts it back on him. He says, "Sammy, you got the nozzle." We go,
Give back the nozzle. Give it back to Sammy.
Al Benjamin was right. 4 hours in, right?
4 hours. You missed your shot, kid.
And
I
Pete
know,
pulled
I
up.
did.
He came in as an ERS box, right? Came in as an ERS box.
The ERS box, that's right. They must have talked into it, right? Because they had the whole assignment on it. It wasn't ERS.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at
That's
that.
good. But that was the South Side.
Speaking of probies,
Look at
That's
that.
graduation day. Probie day graduation. That's my dad. I'm holding my son Shane, who's a lieutenant in 175 right now. And that's my wife Jill and my mom Margaret.
Very nice.
They passed away, but the other guys are still there.
And there's the rock in the background.
You look pretty happy there, Chief.
Yeah, it
He
was
looks
good
like a
time.
happy guy. Well, he's got a beautiful wife, a bouncing baby boy, and just got on the best job in the world. What's not to
Absolutely.
be happy about?
Absolutely. Awesome job, right, guys?
Yeah, no doubt. Look
Nice.
at that guy. Could be
Nice.
a movie star, that guy.
Yeah, right. Shane.
So we were talking about the guy that we both knew, Tommy Alsassa, right? He was in 104.
Yes.
You met him when you
The
first
day I
walked in?
walked, right. The day I walked in, it was they were making lunch, right? And the South Side was heavy Puerto Rican at the time, the Spanish music. So these guys got the Spanish music blasting in the kitchen. There's got to be, in my eyes, it looked like there were 100 people back there because the night crew was hanging over because they worked straight tours. There's a guy in there in a full cast from his hip, his leg, in a full cast, in regular clothes. He's the brother-in-law of Kerry Smith, a fireman in 104, who's wearing hospital garb. He's hanging over for the night tour. He's studying to be a nurse. I don't know why his brother-in-law was there. Tommy Alsassa, they welcomed me with open arms. Proby! I'm the only one that came. And Alsassa puts his arm right around me and he goes, "Do you play ball?" I said, "Yeah, I play basketball." He's not basketball because he's a softball fanatic.
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, I play ball." He says, "Oh, good. Sit down." He's telling me all about the team. They had a good team back then. And Bobby West comes over to me. I don't know if you know.
yeah.
Bobby West, Squad 1 Bobby West?
No.
Oh,
the
a
other
different
Bobby
one?
West.
Oh, all
A
right.
different one, right? And he says to me, "Hey, nice to meet you." He says, "Are you married?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Happily?" I said, "What's that mean?" But they kept me for lunch, and I tell you, they treated me like gold. It was awesome. Really.
See,
was.
we knew Alsassa because he was my basketball coach and my baseball coach
Yeah, right.
in
Basketball.
grammar
He said,
school. Yeah. And now they have, for guys that don't know, Tommy passed away, and they have they still have the one pitch tournament with Tommy Alsassa?
I
"Don't
think
know."
that went on for years and years and
Well,
years.
for years. Yep.
That was a good outing. Chief, I don't remember who we had on. I think somebody for 221. I always ask this question because I remember hearing it from somebody when I first got on. There was a couple of brownstones across the street that were all vacant. And I mean, I know you were only there for a short time, but one of the guys in the Firehouse bought them all up. They were cheap, maybe $5,000 or $10,000, whatever they were at the time. Guys made fun, they broke his balls. And obviously now, I don't even know if he still has them, but obviously that's like probably $5 million.
Yeah, no, it's true. And it was two guys. Now I got it.
It was two guys, yeah.
Names will come to me later. 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll text you what they were. But it was on the same side as the Firehouse. They were 3-story. They looked like brownstones, but they weren't. They were tenements. But they bought a bunch of them. And
they went on to buy a lot more. They went on to buy a lot more, I think, too, man. I think my brother was telling me. Yep.
Tony Oliva. Right, Tony Oliva. Did you hear the names?
That sounds familiar. That sounds familiar. That name. I don't know how I know that name.
Well, he was a 221 guy, and the other guy, Donnie Vestola. That was the other guy, and he came on after me, right after me.
Thank you, Louis. Two of our Italian brethren. You know what I mean? Thank you. Forget about it.
Forget it. That's from Williamsburg over there. How you doing? My whole family's from Williamsburg over there, Chief. By a lady Mount Como. Yeah.
Really? On the south side or the north side?
North side.
Okay.
Actually, probably. Well, Mount Como was at North 6th.
Yes.
And they all lived on Manhattan Avenue and Withers.
Okay.
So,
well, this Firehouse is South 2nd between Driggs and Bedford.
Yeah. I worked there a few times. I covered there as a lieutenant.
They were Attila, too, right? Was it 104
They're
Attila?
That's right. They still are. I'm sure they still are. Tight streets, tight Firehouse. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, good.
Great spot.
It was a great experience. Yeah.
But you only did, 11 months there, right? And the door from 102 opened? What happened? They were like, Red Rover, send Jack on over.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Here's what really happened. Look, Gus Beekman, he was the new commissioner, right? He was in that picture. I don't know if you showed it.
Yeah,
anyway.
you got the picture with the commissioner. He's a black dude.
Way back. Let me find it. But go ahead.
Yeah. He moved up through the ranks. He was not a civilian brought in, and he truly understood firefighting. Another World War II guy, right? And he believed that every fireman, probably, should learn how to fight a fire before they go into a truck or anything else on the job. So he started with my list. Everybody went to engines, which in theory it's great, but I mean I'm the only guy that went to that engine and on that from that boat.
That's not it.
That's the lieutenant's picture.
That's not it. Okay.
No.
All right.
It's 4 people standing on the stairs.
4 people. Okay, I'll look.
Yeah,
for
the promotion, City Hall. But anyway,
I got you.
The every 6 weeks there's a probie class of 150 guys, and by the time the year came, the engines were full now.
Right.
But then nobody's going to a truck, so they had to start emptying the engines so the probies could continue in. 102 only had 15 guys at the roster when I went there, which they should have 25. Yeah, it was all the trucks were like that.
Well, how can they not get you over there? Oh, I guess because Gus Beekman wanted you to go to an engine first.
There you go.
Probies went to engines. Case closed. There were no deviations. Yeah, there he is. That's Gus Beekman. Roger Rodriguez, my father-in-law. He's newly retired in that picture. That's my mother-in-law, Joan. And I forget the chaplain's name, but he was good friends with my father-in-law. And actually, he got me my uniform, the chaplain. Because yes, he was helping a cop who had been a fireman. And the cop got in trouble somehow. I don't know what the deal was. But the cop gave his fire uniform to the chaplain as like a thank you and said, give it to a young fireman, because they cost a lot of money. So he knew Roger and he heard that I was coming on.
Shit.
I got his uniform. Yeah.
Wow, what a great gentleman he was.
I don't even know what the guy's name is. Yeah.
What a great gentleman he was, really.
And Cruz, how'd you say you knew him?
Wait, time out. Hold on a second. What a great
Oh,
gentleman
yeah,
he was. Holy shit.
That's where it started.
Caught me slipping.
Pete, come in, Pete. Over.
Caught me slipping.
Okay. You gonna say something?
Oh, Cruz, how did you say you picked him right out of the picture when you first saw it in the pre-show? How did you? You said
My
your
father drove him for a while. Yeah, and I swear to God, my father used to bring him home. He would have lunch with me and my family. He was like,
really?
yeah, like a regular dude. Like he would come by.
Good guy.
Yeah,
Really
he was
good guy.
a very nice man. Very nice man. Took care of my dad. Great job. Yep.
You know what's good is like my father-in-law talking to him. They were buddies. You know, it didn't matter rank or anything. It was awesome. And I said earlier, he asked me at that ceremony, God speaker, said, "Is everything okay?" What would I say? You know what I mean? But he was throwing that out, and I don't know. But oh man, awesome individual.
So who was in 102 when you got there? I mean, because you talk about busy for a truck too.
Well, the chauffeurs, they all had 20 years. Charlie Stressler, I don't know if you know these names, Connie Metzger, Jerry Lambert. Jerry Lambert was a probie with Tom Carter in 60, and he was there in 79 when I got there.
Wow.
So, for the chauffeur.
And you said Cross was there as a lieutenant when you got there?
Dennis was the Cross. Jerry Barbara, the staff chief, right, that died 9/11. He was lieutenant. Frank Deletto, we used to call him Cheech. Great guy. When I first walked in, with all my gear, I'm transferred there, and I walk in the house watch. I mean, the truck office is right behind the house watch. The letter's working, and he looks up at me and he goes, "Yeah." I said, "I don't know, I need a locker." Hey, his life just starts busting my balls like the loudmouth Italians do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we ended up being the closest friends. Awesome
Really?
working with him.
That's
Straight
funny.
tours. Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying my whole family, it's either Lewis or Frank,
Yeah.
and we call them all Cheech.
Cheech, yeah, Cheech.
Yeah.
Everybody called him Cheech. Everybody loved him. He's a great guy. But you worked straight tours back then. God forbid I made a mutual. He would ride me the next time I came.
Really?
To work. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, it was great. It really was.
I
It's
know
nice working straight tours. What?
When you were in 221, you guys were still riding the backstep, right? Or
For a little bit. Then they changed it. Yeah, we took a run one night. We responded 221 to the Williamsburg Bridge. And going over that fucking bridge at 3 o'clock in the morning at 60 miles an hour, hanging off the deer life on the back.
holy shit!
Oh my
Sorry,
God.
I just
I had the grade. It used to be
I
like
just got a chuckle. Sorry about that.
I had the grading.
Oh,
Yeah, I
man.
had the grading too, right? Can you imagine?
So the truck would be like.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, the
You
wheel
had the
line
white,
is
you had the
like
white
that.
knuckles going on there, bro.
Oh yeah.
But they taught us right away at the firehouse, not at the probie school, that you don't hold on with your hand. You put your arm around the boss, so you got your elbow in it, and you keep this closed, with your other hand. You won't fall off that way. You try to do this, you'll lose your grip.
Ah,
Boy, I tell you, I had that
that's
time.
an old
Man.
school tip of the day.
I
Inside an
haven't
old
heard
school
All
tip
right,
of the
there you
day.
go. If you're riding the back step, do this.
Yeah, somewhere on
You can
Mars,
try
if
to
you're
take
still
it.
riding the backstep.
without a triple, strap and everything. And
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. It was crazy, but I mean, guys fell off rigs, right? That's why we
Yeah,
do
hell
it.
yeah.
Guys got killed falling off the rigs. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
How long did it take you to catch your first job?
Oh,
over there?
you killed me. You just took my question.
Oh, 102. I don't remember. I wasn't. Well, before I got there, I got a food on the stove. Does that count?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Did you work in a truck before that, or that was
No.
the first time?
Oh yeah, no. You mean on like details or
Details.
overtime?
Yeah.
Sure. 119 and 104. You stayed within your battalion. So the
Right.
3 trucks: 102, 104, 119. So I did work in those trucks before, but since 102's roster was so light, every time there was this was well into it, like summertime now, and everybody knows. Oh, this is what I was going to say before. The scuttlebutt was that you either put a paper in or you're getting lifted. All the guys with like my kind of time, you had almost a year. They can't lift the probie. They're not going to lift the guy with time, so they're going to lift the guys as they come off probation, which is exactly what they did. So you either put in the paper and you probably got what you asked for, or you got lifted. And 4 or 5 guys got lifted out of 221 to make room for
Right.
to move around.
Oh, shit.
And seeing that your father-in-law's a deputy, that didn't hurt either, you know.
Well, he was out by then, but he didn't know
was he?
us. Yeah, he was out 1 year. He got out in '77, right before I got him.
Oh, so you guys didn't even got a chance to work at the same time.
Yeah, no, we didn't. Yeah.
Was that,
What
was that
about,
Mike Banker next to
What's
you?
that?
Was that Mike Banker?
That's and Mike Banker was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the name, yes, Mike.
Yeah, I
and I
saw
were
the
coaches.
picture next to him.
Yeah, and Warren Knight. Oh no, Eddie Garrity is behind your the emblem, the Getting Salty emblem. Eddie Garrity.
Hold on.
Oh, pull up.
Pull him up. Hold on. Everyone cool out. There he is.
Oh,
There
wow.
he is, Eddie. He came from 226 after his year, and me, Mike, and Warren Knight, the next guy over. Mike was in 209, so he crossed the floor, and Warren Knight was in 237. He got lifted into 102.
Wow.
He got
So
fucked.
Steve
Right?
Murphy, you got lifted and went to Staten Island. He got he got lifted and went to 102. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah,
Look at that.
good time.
Young.
I tell you,
Jimmy
Warren
Graham,
Knight.
when did Jimmy Graham get there, Chief?
Did who? Did who get there?
Jimmy
Jimmy
Graham.
Graham.
I think he was a captain there, Ruffy. That was
Jimmy
Oh,
was
wow.
a captain.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
he was a
That's right.
captain. Yeah, but slide over to Warren one more time. Can you see? Warren was one of the strongest guys. I'm telling you.
He looks big.
We went to a fire in the projects, and I got the roof at that time. The roof guy went to the floor above, right? They still do, I think. Yep. And he's got the forcible entry, and the engine. I don't remember what engine it was. They were trying to force the door. They got in first. We all got off the elevator together. So I'm walking into the stairs. I hear Captain Rogers say to Warren, you take the axe. And I get on the floor above. Well, he started sweeping. The whole fucking building was shaking with him. That poor guy was probably dying, hanging on for dear life on this thing. I'm telling you, he can hit that thing so hard.
probably that single engine 210 over there. You know those guys.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Very
Whoever.
aggressive,
Somebody
very aggressive.
It probably was a single engine. They got in without a truck, right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Who else was I thinking about? Was it Travis? Was Travis there?
Eddie was there. Eddie was fireman there. Yep.
A lot of guys were in there. So
Oh,
what?
John
Richard-
O'Connell. You had John O'Connell on. He was there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, J.O. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He went from Brooklyn to the Bronx. He was a
No,
crossover.
he went to Rescue 3 from 102.
Yeah, so
Right.
I'm saying from Brooklyn
Right,
to the
Brooklyn
Bronx.
to the
Wow.
Bronx,
I
right.
think was Richardson there when you were there?
Tommy was there. Yep, he got there a year and a half before I left. He got there in '85, Tommy.
85. Aha.
And who else was there? I don't know. I
Any
should have
other-
written that down for you guys.
Any other good fire stories from 102?
Well, that other ticket you got there, that's that fifth alarm.
Yeah, Pete, pull that
I
up.
got it.
Yeah,
Yep. Coming up. But
It
tell
was
us all
down.
about that.
that was down by 105. It was a vacant factory, but boarded up, 4-story, huge building. And I only kept the ticket because it's the first fifth alarm I ever went to. But John and I, we got there on the second, and John, the chief wanted us to start cutting roll downs. But the smoke that was pumping out of this building, the front, you couldn't see the upper floors, and every once in a while, you couldn't see the street level either. And the wind blew, and there's the roll down. So I go get the saw. We only had the one saw. I had to take off the roof blade to put on the forcible entry blade, right? And, Keenan, he had time. He had like 18 years in the job. He's, like, hurry up, kid. And then we get over there in the smoke. And he's got the saw going, and the buckets are up. And the buckets are disappearing into the smoke. So you can't see where the baskets are, right? And, there was one right above us. And they were removing plywood off the windows.
Oh,
And
shit.
just as John lays the saw into the door, a sheet of plywood gets dropped, and the point catches the back of his leg because he's got his back leg sticking out right above the calf, sends him right to the ground. And we can't see anything because it's in the smoke. He's down on the ground. It's like, what the fuck was that? I can't believe it didn't hit me, but it got him square in the leg. And so we hobble out, get him to the ambulance. He's pretty messed up. And he's off. We had a covering boss, and so the chief wants 102 to go back in. And this poor covering guy, he didn't know what to do. One guy's off in an ambulance, and we're all young bucks wanting to go back in. And it's like, you can't figure this fucking building out. And anyway, turned into a surrounding drama. That was good for him.
You caught your share of work there, though, right? From you were there from 79 to 86, right? I mean,
in the beginning, it was pretty steady. You know, a job or tour. I mean, we were not the South Bronx. I get from the stories I hear from them, but yeah, it was a lot of work. It was good, steady work, and occupied. Brownstones, some of those brownstone-looking, 3-story frame types. Factories. We had the factories.
you had everything over there. You had projects over there. You had
everything.
PDs.
You had where were you? You were definitely on the ticket at the Navy Yard, right? I mean, that was
Oh
close
yeah,
to you guys.
you're one section in Navy Yard, was second to yeah.
Yeah, you had 1, 2, 3 good jobs there every year in the Navy Yard.
I never caught one, but I came in the morning. It was a Navy ship in dry dock with the sailors on it. And the guy said they showed up, and there's the sailor with the machine gun at the gangplank. You're not coming up because it's their job to put the fire out. This is a U.S. vessel. You're not allowed on it. And it was the computer room of one of these ships. And they tried, but they, and they were tough at it, but they didn't have the gear we had. They had rubber coats. They had those long pipe applicators. They were basically going in their clothing, trying to put out a fire in a metal compartment. And eventually he backed off and come on in and they put the fire out.
Me and Louis talk about this all the time. We went to that shipboard firefighting, right?
Oh yeah.
I would have been like, you know what? You can have it, bro. Keep that one. I'm out on that, right? Like 3 levels down, right?
I say all the time, Chief, the triple subcellars.
I'm out.
I don't know.
How about this photo right here? This is 102 also, right?
They were just, I wasn't working, but that's Garrity, Eddie Garrity's on the right. Jack Doherty, or John Doherty, he was the lieutenant. 10 years in 26 truck, then he came to us and did 10 years with us. Tommy Marks is next to him. Don Leo is in the center with his tongue hanging out. Dave Island is next to him. I for the life of me, I can't recognize who the guy on the left is with the axe. Chauffeur, but I can't figure it out. Don Leo is his son. Do you remember when those 2 crane mishaps in Midtown? One of them crashed into the building. This is like in the early 2000s.
Yes.
And the other one, the head fell off and the crane operator died. It was his son. He was the operator in that crane.
Oh,
wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. But all super guys.
Look at all those guys with work boots on. That's it.
Yeah, the rubber boots.
And the chauffeur with the pike axe. I like that, man.
Yeah.
Wait, now, but was the chauffeur wearing? Look at what he's wearing. Are those boots? What are those?
Those ankle high boots. Knee high boots.
He's dancing loafers, Petey.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, did he ever? Was he like? It feels like what's that? Saturday Night Fever or something.
Yeah, man.
His dancing shoes.
Yeah.
I wish I could recognize him. Yeah. You might have some truth there.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Chief, that was. I say this all the time too on the podcast. Previous, when I first got promoted, obviously much later than you, but like 2002, I was bouncing around in the 5-7. I was assigned to the 5-7, and 102 was one of my favorite places to work because my first tour there was 5 guys over 20 years. I just went up. It was
Richie Razowitz.
It was Razowitz, Croce, Insardi, Pollard. It was all of those guys. I would just go up in their office and hide, and
you had the can, right?
Yeah. I give them the BF4. I'll just, I don't even have to go. You know what I mean? You guys let me know where I go. That's it, exactly.
Solid individuals in a single truck back then, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right, man.
Yeah.
Pete, go back to that picture for a minute.
Yep.
What size hook is that Garrity's holding right there? That's
it looks like an 8-foot hook.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, the high ceilings, it's what a chore, right? What a chore. Yeah. And John O'Connell, we had a fire. I'm driving chauffeur, and this is like 85, whatever, and it's brownstones. We're second due. 111's got the bucket up, top floor fire, and you rarely get extension into the adjoining buildings, right, in brownstones. It's good fire. John gets up to the roof. I put him up. And I figured, well, I'll go help him. I had such a bad angle, I couldn't get into any window, and you weren't getting into the top floor anyway. We start cutting the roof, and then we gave it enough of a hold, it vents, and it gets bad. And I go one way, he goes the other way. There's a cop on the adjoining roof just watching this whole act. Now I'm like, John, I don't want to get panicked, but John, wait, he couldn't answer me. He's on the smoke side of this mess. But I got my balls busted by my favorite Lieutenant Doherty because I should have been in the adjoining building where 102 was assigned to search. They were afraid there was extension. They actually had extension in the brownstone, and I should have been on that top floor. So as good as job as we did on the roof, I was in the wrong spot. Anyway,
people don't realize how shitty you can get on the roof. Absolutely.
Hot summer day, nothing's going to lift for you, right?
I saw a guy. I had a guy I worked with in 288. We had a job one time in July on the roof, and this was his last tour. He had bad lungs to begin with. He looked like somebody just took him around back and kicked the shit out of him. He was like, I'm done. That's it. I'm done. That was it. He retired, man. I'm done. That's it. Because that smoke has no place to go. You're on the roof taking a beating, and you probably don't have your mask on 9 times out of 10. And you can take the hell of.
They always used to say, you have one, as a roof man, one really good job. When we say good job, we mean really good job where you can't see shit. You're still cutting, you're cutting all, an hour, 2 hours. You earn your money for the whole year at those jobs. You're the guy who's, if the guys are underneath, that's where it really matters.
Yeah, cutting and pulling
and pushing the ceilings. This in that picture, there's not a mask to be seen, right?
I saw that. I noticed that. Yeah.
My first tour working with Lieutenant Cross, Dennis Cross, he tells whatever the rig, whatever we go over, and he says, and the mask, don't touch the mask unless I tell you. I'm thinking, oh fuck. Go, we didn't get the job. But he was one tough individual, little guy. But I got another story for him when you get to 103.
All right, Ruffy, who do we talk to that said? They were working in the Slash and Outfit back in the late 70s too, and they saw when this guy grabbed his mask, you knew it had to be a shitty job. I can't remember who that was now, man. They were like, I saw this guy grab this boss grab his mask.
Yeah, you knew it was
holy
not,
shit, yeah.
It was Downey. When he said Downey grabbed the mask, was it Downey?
Was that it?
Oh my God.
Maybe. Yeah. Oh, it was Downey. So who could that have been? I don't know who that was then.
Who was that recently that we just had? Somebody said as soon as they saw Downey take the mask, they knew they were
shit's on. Yeah,
shit's on.
Before we move on from 102, here's another one for everyone. How am I doing?
How am I doing?
All right. So in the picture, right, my wife, but the little guy in the sailor suit is Scott. He's the captain of 124 now, and that's Shane 175, and that's the mayor.
Wait a minute. So the little guy's the captain and the big guy's the lieutenant?
Right.
I love that. Good for him.
All dressed up City Hall. But that fire that they gave me that award for, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And we had been in this apartment, I had been on a run for a water leak a couple of days prior. Because the apartment that had the fire, above had water leaks and was dripping into there, whatever. And there was nothing we could do. I felt so sorry for these people. They had at least 4 kids and whatever. We were able to shut the water down, but we couldn't stop the drip and the mess they had to deal with. So anyway, we leave. A couple of days later, 3 o'clock in the morning, their apartment's on fire. Maybe it wasn't even that late. It wasn't that late, no, because the babysitter is hanging from the fire escape to drop. They're on the 3rd floor. The fire's roaring out of 2 windows onto the fire escape. How this guy got himself out, I don't know. But now there's people above on the fire escapes. They can't come down because it's blowing out on the fire escape. 217's first through. They were in first, single engine. We get up to the apartment, and Harry Rogers is working, like the captain, and Tommy Donlin, he was on a detail for the engine. I had the irons, and we get to the door. The apartment door is open, and it's roaring out of the apartment door. And the lieutenant says, and the engine says to Harry Rogers, there are kids in there. And he says, well, you need water because nobody could get into that door the way it was, right? So they get the water and we start moving in and all you hear is Harry Rogers, no mask. We all put our masks on, but he didn't. And it's like, let's go, keep moving. And he moved them. His goal was to get that nozzle to the fire escape. And he knew the layout, from having all these years of experience. He was 105 fireman, a 216 lieutenant, and now a captain 102. And he did. He got it there, and I just started searching off to the right as soon as it broke in. And then I got to a bedroom, and there was a kid there, and we got him out, and then back in we got the other kid. And then rescue was in right behind us too, because they were close. They were on Carlton Avenue. They got in close. They followed us in. They found the other two kids, but they all didn't make it. Two of the kids didn't make it. They all left alive, but a couple of days later, two of them passed. Sad fire. But
Yeah.
Harry Rogers, and never forget the calmness of him and the talking. It was so hot and so right, and you heard him through the whole thing. You got it.
It really is. It's just amazing about
Right.
how some of it really is. How,
Right.
there's even no words to describe guys like that,
Right.
man, who are just so calm in the worst possible conditions. You know,
Right.
just
With a cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah. So he didn't smoke anymore. He gave it up. He just smoked apartments.
It was like Patty Lee. Patty Lee always had the cigarette. All the time.
Patty Lee, never heard of him.
Never heard
Patty
of him.
Lee, Patty Lee, never heard of him.
But how many times after a fire it's all knocked down, then you see the little red glows?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
right.
The guys lighting up. in the smoke.
overhauling, right? Overhauling.
Yeah,
Right?
overhaul with
Yeah.
a cigarette in their mouth.
Yeah. Amazing.
Great.
Whatever.
So you did a decent amount of time there, and then you go and get promoted, which is pretty quick though. You got out at 78, you got promoted in 86.
I caught the test. The first two classes out of my list caught the lieutenant's test. You had to have 3 years to take the test. We had 3 years in September, and then in October, the test was at the end of October.
Were you studying hard, or you just a good test?
A year and a half I studied.
Yeah.
I remember I went into Harry Rogers' office and said, well, actually, no, it started back in 104. 104, while I was a probie there, they got a new captain, Stevie McMahon. Awesome guy. He saw all these probies in this house. He said, let's start a study group. So every time we came to work, he'd give us assignments, and we would do them in the kitchen together. He was an awesome guy. But that started me reading. And then a year into 102, I said to Harry, I want to study, what do you suggest? And he looked at me like, you just got here, but he told me, he gave me like, here, start with these things. And I did it, and I got lucky. I got on the list. I was made in the last group. They cleaned up the list, and they got me. So,
Nice.
whatever.
So
Yeah,
you
nice.
get assigned to Division 5 in 1986. Did you do much bouncing? It looks like about
A year.
a year you bounced,
About
right?
a year. Yeah, I was 59 and 30. I worked there a lot. And then 58 engine. I like that. And then I got a UFO and 69 engine. And when I couldn't get that spot because the captain of 69 wanted his guy, and he said, Jack, you're a nice guy, but why don't you try 84 engine? So I got a UFO in 84 and never left.
And you got the spot in 84.
My first tour there was September 9. I have it wrong in the info I gave you. It was September 2nd of 87. That day seems to recur for me. And 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we caught an ass kicking top floor, H-type fire, first two.
Really?
So I was sold.
Who were they in with?
Who with the flash?
34 choice.
Over here.
Oh, they
over
were
here.
34 and 84.
Right. Another Tillery.
Another Tillery.
Yeah.
What
Boston
street are
Firehouse.
they? What street are they on?
They're on 161st Street. It's actually, if you look at the map of Manhattan, it's the shortest east to west block in the city. It's right there.
Really?
And it narrows down and then it goes back up. Yeah. And the
So
block,
that's
the
not
fire
really-
was right down the block, 161st.
Is that up in the Heights, or is that
Yeah,
still like
that's the Heights.
it is?
Their
in the-
motto, their motto is where Harlem reaches the Heights, which I like.
I have heard of that, right? As opposed to those the Bite of the Heights. We don't like those guys. The Bite of the Heights. The Harlem meets the Heights. That's awesome.
Where Harlem reaches the Heights.
Harlem reaches the Heights.
That was Eddie Lynch, captain of 34 Chalk. He came up with that. So go ahead.
And how'd you do your first job? I mean, like to get right into the whole scheme of things. Did you feel comfortable?
With an 84 engine?
Well, just being,
As a
just
boss.
having the first job as a boss, like, did you feel?
Yeah, no, that was in, trying to think. The first job as a boss was in engine 59, the second night tour. I did 2 night tours in a row. It was the second night tour,
Oh,
6
that's
o'clock in the morning, a
Yeah,
vacant
yeah.
building right behind us. They got there, that was, trying to think of some names. I mean, it was literally behind the firehouse. And the fire was on the 3rd floor. And the aerial went up so fast. I jumped off the rig, and as I'm getting to the front, the roof man is flying up the aerial already. It's
Wow.
incredible. the skylights coming down as I hit the staircase, and we just got there. It's like, geez,
Nice.
trying to think,
Professionals.
K9. You know K9 from he was 53 engine lieutenant.
No.
Gene Kananowitz. He was the roofer. But anyway, okay. He would be a good guy to get on too. By the way.
Yeah.
Write that down,
Nice.
Petey. Write that down. K9.
K9. Eugene Kananowitz.
Eugene Kananowitz.
How would you compare, the way they did things in Brooklyn to the way they did things up there?
Well, you always hear them say like they're more gentlemanly up there in Harlem.
Oh,
Wait a minute. Did you say gentlemen? Oh my God.
Okay.
No, they say this, Chief, after you. No, after
No. You first.
Hey, yeah. Well, the building's burning down. No, they were good. What I did like up there is, like in Brooklyn, you when the box comes in, you go, and there's no slowing down. And up there, they go, but if they see you a couple of blocks away in your first due, they'll wait and give you the box, which is good. I mean, it should be like that. Stay in the order that you're assigned, and then
I heard
the game plan
103 was big at that. They used to do that all the time. No, your first due. Go ahead.
All the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about as far as the way they operated? Was it basically the same, or
Basically the same. The same. Absolutely. Actually, when I got to 84, basically we ran north and south, and we'd be running down to 80 engine, and we could see each other coming because the dividing line was 11 blocks from the firehouses, and it'd be the race to make the turn into the block if we were there. And I'm ramping my guys up so that we can beat them, and it was wrong. It was just wrong. It caused animosity, and so I learned.
How about the turnouts? Were the turnouts where they were in Brooklyn, or was it?
They were good. They were not like 290. Nobody turns out like 290, right?
Oh, look at this guy! You're putting a smile on his face. He can't help himself.
He wasn't even talking about 290, and the guy had to mention 290. The guy wasn't even talking.
290.
No,
290,
103 turned out fast. Awesome. I loved it. But I like the fact that my office was in the front too, so that I didn't make the rig. And the pole's right there down in. I'm in the rig.
Yeah, because once you get up there, you got to have a little advantage. You got to have a little something, a little edge on the guys, right?
Yeah, it's good. But,
you were there for
7 years. Where? 84?
84. You were there for about 4 years.
4 years. 87 to 91.
And what? You took the captain's test. You do well on that, or?
I just caught the captain's test. Actually, since I was on the bottom of the lieutenant's list, I was studying for the next one. The ones where they threw the tests out. Did you hear that one?
Yes.
80s, yeah. So I was in the books. So I just stayed in the books for that summer, and they gave the test in October, and I passed the test. So, yeah, I looked up. But I wasn't on the top of the list.
People don't realize, I don't know what it's like for the rest of the country, but the amount of studying required to do well on these tests, it's amazing. Guys would study. My brother used to study 6, 7, 8 hours a day. He would go lock himself in a room with earmuffs on and just study. There's so much information.
The guys who truly get the high scores, everybody studies those hours, but they study more, those guys. And they could be corporate executives, CEOs, lawyers, whatever, with their studying capability. It shows to be fine. They like the Chinese 72.
They like the Chinese. What do they call that? The rest of the country, they like the Chinese 72.
You can't call that anymore, right?
They call it a Kelly Day in the rest of the country.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, they call it a Kelly Day. I don't know who Kelly
I
is.
knew it. Where did it come from? I don't know where that.
What? I think somebody did tell us where that came from. I don't.
Maybe somebody typed it in.
Pete, look that up. Where'd the Chinese 72 come in the FDNY?
It's my father-in-law said that to me when he came on in.
Holy shit! 1940 something, right?
Actually, when he came on, they worked 3 8-hour shifts. In yeah, and in the early 50s or late 40s, they went to this two platoon system, and they didn't do the whole city. It took a while to roll it out, and he said you couldn't believe all the old timers balking. This is bullshit, like they didn't want that time off. They wanted to have come to work every day.
Yeah. Could you imagine that today?
Oh my God!
What were the 3 8-hour tours that they worked?
Oh, probably like the cops. I don't know, to be honest with you.
Wow, I never knew that, dude. Did you know
Well,
that?
that's what he told me.
didn't know
Yeah.
Well, the Chiefs dropping nuggets all over the place. You gotta
No,
pick up those
no
nuggets.
info on FDNY Kelly or the
Chinese
Chinese
72.
782. But what did come up was that illegal massage parlors outnumber Starbucks 2-1 in NYC.
You know what? Now we have that information, Pete. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought that would be pertinent to the conversation at
Yes,
hand.
it
Oh,
certainly
you got
is.
such a big muscle. Oh,
Oh, I got such a big
So
muscle.
strong, so strong.
Oh, so you. Now this is the part that's going to
We're
get. Interesting.
digressing, huh?
yeah. Let's move on quickly.
This is the part that gets interesting to me because the Chief gets promoted to captain in '91 and gets assigned to Division 14.
Right.
So welcome to Queens, Chief. How do you like it so far? Was your
Well, I wanted to stay in the 5th, and the deputy up there that I was good with, Billy Bassler, he said, "Sure, we'll get you back. Go do your 2 years someplace else. We'll bring you back." And so I put in for the 14th, and I got it. But they put me UFO in 295 right away, which was I enjoyed it. I didn't catch much work. I caught one tour, 3 fires. The guys were awesome. They did one of the jobs. They stretched to 2.5 first two. They did a great job. They were good. They liked the drill. Well, I liked the drill, so they drilled with me, which was good. And there's senior guys in the truck. Well, senior guys in the engine too, but they had a lot of probies there in the engine and the truck because they had to fill spots, right? And
right?
guys weren't transferring out as much as they used to into the slower company, so there were a lot of probies. So it was good. We drilled in nice place.
How long did you stay there for?
I was only there 5 months. Then they put me in 280. No, then I covered a few vacations. That's when I met your brother.
That's what I'm waiting for. Tell me about tell me about what a lasting impression that the rug left on you.
Well,
don't tell me you didn't know that wasn't a rug on his head. First of
all, everybody told me what it was.
Well, they could have said dead raccoon. They could have said anything.
Steve Kubler, Steve Carbone was the lieutenant.
Yes.
Lieutenant Kaboom.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I never experienced. He used to put the map gas in the milk
Yes.
container and blow it up in the
Allegedly. Yes.
pole hole and give everybody a fucking heart attack. But anyway. No damage, just hijinks.
Where did you work? In the engine or the truck?
In the engine. Oh, no, and I did a vacation in the truck too. Yeah.
So did the rug ever drive you?
He must have.
With his cut off sleeves, the cigarette in his mouth, the cup of coffee in his hand.
He was good. He's very respectful. Very respectful, right? Good guy. No,
We're
am I
talking about the
saying
same guy? No, he was respectful to the boss. He would bludgeon you at the kitchen table, but he
maybe I wasn't there long enough.
No, not an officer. He would bludgeon. Although he
Firehouse. That's a great firehouse.
Oh, it is really was a great guy. Yeah.
I came in for a day tour once, and the relocators were in there. The guys were at a job, right? And I saw the relocator there was a fireman and a house watch. So I walk into my cities, and he just said, "I'm Jack Mooney." He says, "I don't give a fuck who you are. I'm not signing you in." Welcome to the firehouse.
All right. Little did he know.
Yeah, what am I going to do? Nothing.
So you did a while there then, huh? You did at least 2 years.
Then they put me UFO in 287.
Oh, so you were 287? Oh.
Yes. The captain of 295 was Connie McDade, and he liked me being in 295. And when I asked, I'd like to go elsewhere, he kind of took care of me. He was light duty in the division.
Oh, okay.
As captain. So he got me into nice spots.
So you used to run it with the old engine 288 before they became a squad.
Yes, that's right.
Uh-huh.
We did. One tour I worked there. Yeah. As an engine.
126. That's another good. You run around a lot over there, right? I'm sure you ran around 154.
Yes.
They had 4 boxes, and the same thing, 136. Back then they were running around with 4 boxes.
Yep. With 289 and 138. They ran a little bit more, but the ones were crazy.
They did a lot of runs over there. Yeah. Yep.
And we caught work, private dwellings, a lot of private dwellings.
Yeah.
A couple of apartment houses.
Those guys always catch their share of work. The 4.6, they always catch their share of work. The 4.6 is always up there, for Queens.
Yes. Yes, big area. They got a big
Yeah,
area. and
that's what
it's-
Gentleman Jack Kleehouse was.
That's right.
In the fourth
That's
street.
right. And
I say, Gentleman Jack Kleehouse was in the fourth
I
street.
heard.
I said, holy shit!
I'm not even. I wasn't even thinking you were going to like repeat it again. Just 'cause you're like,
He throws it. He throws it out. Like, I said, gentleman, Jack. Like,
Mhm.
and he expects me to catch that. Okay.
hey, how about Mark Ferran? Have you had Mark Ferran on?
He's not retired yet, but I will.
Oh, you
I
got
drove him a little bit
retired.
too.
Uh,
Yeah, because we don't want to get anybody jammed up. But he
Yeah.
tells me, I went out to dinner with him. I took my brother and him, Cucurullo, and McSweeney out to dinner one night, and he loved Mark Ferran loves to tell fire stories. So we got to definitely and he's seen his share of fire, man.
he's a 102 guy, right? He's a 102 guy.
he was.
Yes,
Yep.
102,
Started in
112.
240 and then got up to us.
Yeah, and then he was, I think he was lieutenant at 112. I'm almost sure, lieutenant or captain at 112. I'm not sure.
Lieutenant in 103, a captain in 112.
Oh, that number keeps coming up, back up, 103. It's just it sucks you right in, that number. You can't get away from it, really.
And his nickname in 112 was Captain Kid. He's got that baby
Well,
face.
I might have to write that out.
Write that
Captain
down.
Kid.
But Mark has awesome stories.
He
As a
loves.
battalion, as a battalion chief, they had a fire up along Queens Boulevard. He was in the 2-8, I think. No. What's the fire? What's the battalion? Anyway, he was battalion chief, and it was in a gym, a basement gym. A commercial gym.
I had that job.
Did you have that? And
Yeah.
who went down in the locker room?
Mike Bricado from Rescue
Mike
4 went
Bricado.
down. Yep, I had that
And,
job.
They had tires in the sauna.
yes, that's right. Were you at
Yep.
that too, Louis?
I wasn't. I was off that day, but we drilled on that afterwards, like how the guys got him out.
Yep,
And
we got him out actually because he's a big dude, Mike Bricado from Rescue 4.
Oh my God!
Big
And he was stuck
dude.
between the lockers and that bench, right? But they somebody gave him Mayday, and the fire is kind of like under control. And Mark's outside, and he goes, Mayday? And with that, he grabbed the fast truck and the skirt,
The Stokes.
the Stokes,
Yeah,
down
they
the
threw him in
stairs.
Stokes. Yep.
right outside the room, because they kind of cleared, except for the friggin' locker room was still down to the floor, right?
Locker room was down to the floor. Yep.
Oh my God!
Boys,
So where were you
just,
working, Kev?
Just from the chat.
I was in the squad. at that time. We went there. We wound up cutting a hole on the first floor over the fire, which allowed a lot of it to vent out. And then we got the line and we knocked the rest of it down. And Joe Hunter and a detail from Squad 41 dragged out Mike Bricado.
Oh man!
Yep. You know what I love about Ferran? His famous line when he got to a job all the time and guys were in a little bit of a panic. Guys, can we act like we've done this before? So I'm gonna send
Bricado's son's. I don't know if he's a captain now.
Who?
He was in 288. Mike, his son is.
Oh,
was in-
Bricado. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Bricado,
Mike-
really?
yeah.
He's a solid guy. I like
Yeah,
working
his
with Mike.
son's
He
a
was
great.
he was 136 before he went to rest.
I think you're-
rescue squad, right? That's where I met Mike.
A lot of guys from 136 used to go there. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Good guy.
Boys,
So-
just from the
Kev.
chat, real quick, Gon's coming in shit hot. The Kelly Day term came from a mayor in Chicago in 1936. The union succeeded in reducing the work week of firefighters to 72 hours. For every 7 on duty, you get a day off.
Look at Gonzo coming in. Can somebody clear up the Chinese 72? Where we got that from? I don't know where we got it from. Somebody? Anybody?
Anybody?
Oh, see, Hank Molay worked that day too. Yep. We found and removed Mike and put out the fire. We did, Hank. Senior dude, Hank was working.
Nice.
Yes. All right, so you transferred to the 15th. Keeps bringing
Yes.
you back there. It's like, speaking of Chinese, life is like a circle. Come right back around. And you're back in Division 15.
Well,
oh, wait a minute.
There were 4. Whenever I was surplus in Queens, I seemed to be going to 103. Out of Queens to go to 103 to work a surplus tour. So I had a half a dozen tours there. And I liked the place. It's a rear mount. I wanted to be a captain in a rear mount if I could. And when I go to Queens, Brian O'Flaherty, remember that name? He was
Yeah.
the union. He was the union delegate, the captain's rep, I believe, at the time. I had the paper in to go to the 15th for a while, and it wasn't happening. And now there was a promotion coming up. So I called Brian and said, Brian, if they make this promotion, they're going to fill the spots with the new captains. I'll never get there. So I'm sure he had something to do with it. I was on the order. But the 4 or 5 really good company trucks were open. 132, 111, 103, and 123, I believe. So
Can't go wrong with any of those.
all the time. And everybody was calling the John O'Connor, the division commander, and and he's like, relax, relax. So he just put everybody in vacation spots. So I did a vacation in 123, but I said I would like 103 if I get the opportunity. And then when that was done, he put everybody, the UFO guys, in all the different spots, and he put me in 103.
Why did you want to go to 103? What was it about?
Well, the fact that it's a remount, but they were busy back then. And I like the way the remount operates at a fire. Back then with the little A-frames on the back, the chauffeur can operate that all by himself. He doesn't need the OB to help him set up and all. I just liked it. But anyway, and they were busy.
That's why I always said, Ruffy, I'll take the remount every day of the week. That's why I picked 112. I could go to any place. It would have been 112 back in. But so your UFO in 103, and then you get the spot
in January, right? Or February?
February 15th. Almost like a Valentine's Day gift to 103.
Right.
So explain it to me. Give me the dynamics from a guy who was in charge of the place, because we've had firemen. I want to get the folklore out of the way and give me the real story about how that place operated.
Well, all they wanted to do is drill and go to fires, so I can't argue with that.
Right.
Rough around the edges, yeah, I'm sure they are. But one guy, Louis Bauer said to me, Ludwig, he said, they're always saying we're trying to live off our reputation. We're not. We're trying to live up to it. The reputation that was established by the guys like John Vigiano and Jack Kane, Ronnie Quartuccio, all these firemen from the 70s and 60s everywhere. That's what they're trying to be, as good as them. But it would seem to be taking long. But they're hard charges. And my personal opinion, they ran much more than the surrounding companies. So they're out a lot of the time. And if a run comes in, we're picking it up on the air where you're coming from quarters. And sometimes it becomes easy for us to get there before you do. And when you're out of order, it causes all kinds of problems, right? So
maybe it was sour grapes. Maybe it was sour grapes that they were getting beat into their first 2 boxes.
Well, maybe
we want to create this illusion that they're doing the wrong thing. No,
look, 102. Tom Carter, right, captain of 102 in 1960. He used to tell them, if 108 beats us in, whatever he's going to do to them. So that back in 1960, they were racing each other into boxes. And I go up to, Harlem didn't, but the Bronx was racing too for some, I didn't work much in the Bronx, but it's not just the Brooklyn thing. But
it's pride. It's pride.
It's pride. You want to be there. Well, first of all, it's only going to get better once you get there. You just got to have some common sense. We can't be tipping the rigs over trying to get there, which is.
That ever happened, Louis?
Not to me, thank God. But I mean,
modified response, right?
I think a lot of the crap came from that the guys would turn out the same way for
no matter what.
It did not matter.
No matter
I've
what.
said that countless times. Mike McVeigh has said it. Anybody who's ever worked there, didn't matter if it was a gas leak, a fucking food on the stove, obviously for a fire. It didn't matter. Even EMS, it did not matter. Those guys were running to the rig. You would be left behind if you were not running to the rig. That's
so that about it must have been easy for you, because coming from the squad, that's what we did. That's what Murphy taught us. So it must have been right in your own wheelhouse, right?
It was like he said, the fire part and being ready to. It's like a sock company. Without, like he said, that's rough around the edges. There's a lot of crap. I mean,
I don't know if they're as rough as, I shouldn't say it like that, because I don't mean to talk down.
But listen, it's just it's a tough firehouse. It's a tough firehouse. I got a quick story, Chief. I'm just going to give you a quick story here that somebody, a little birdie sent me, and it just really sums it up perfectly, I think, for people to understand how it was. Let me see if I can find it here. This was sent to me by maybe another little birdie, Joe Bizell / Mike McVeigh. And this was a story. Bizell said, newly assigned to 103, Captain Mooney makes up a cardboard box tenement for drill purposes, right? Windows cut out, the whole thing. He even adds flames that you can interchange in various windows, etc. Nice, right? This is what it says in this text. Nice, right? Question mark. He made the mistake of leaving it out. He comes in the next set, and in all the windows, expertly cut to fit exactly with an X-Acto knife are all porn pictures.
Never happened.
Allegedly. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like all these funny things that the guys do, you know what I mean?
I said to them, "You guys have too much time in you." But it wasn't a cardboard box. It was the job came down with these poster boards of different buildings.
Oh, I remember that. Chief.
And you had the little plywood set up with the plexi.
You would put them in. Yeah, you should
I
put in
remember that.
different. Yes.
Yeah, so they had done the like the H-type building, every friggin' window, and it was in the back. And so we come down for a drill or whatever, brownstones, and they go, no, let's do the H-type. So I pull it out, and it's like, oh, you fucks, you know. But that's what it is.
Yeah.
They were great. They were truly great. When I left, when I cleaned out my locker to leave, Mike Capone, lieutenant in the engine, I forget who was in the truck, covering guy. But anyway, Mike kept pacing the hall back and forth between the two officers. I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe it. And then he disappears. So I got my shit. I'm going down, and I walk. I hear, before I get down to the bottom of the stairs, it's all members to the apparatus floor. I come around, they're in front of the rig, and he gets me fucking crying, right? He says, "Lieutenant Hut, and salute." I thought, oh, you bastards. But they were awesome people. Great people to work with. The reputation they have, they don't deserve it.
Yeah, no, I always said it's kind of like a bizarro world. I always felt, I think mostly because all the other firehouses had a chief, right? Listen, I get,
right.
We didn't have a chief. Every other firehouse had a chief for the most part, right? So I just felt like if you're looking for something anywhere, you're going to find it, right? I mean, I'm not saying that the guys were saints, but you cannot take away. If I was the chief, how many times that you show up that the chief was looking for somebody, he would say to you or Barry Alley or one of those guys, "Hey, listen, put this fire out," or, it was always the same thing. It was always, when it came down to it, they always wanted you. It was the same thing when I worked there. They just would look for you when the shit was on because they knew you guys would take care of business.
Well, we knew that they had confidence in us. But the thing that I used to, it's like when you go, I did it as a chief, and I think I learned it there, is when you go to the different firehouses, it's not a hit and run. Have a cup of coffee with them. They have to get to know you. You have to get to know them. And it just gets better. I could not get a covering chief to stay with us. Some guys would, but most of them wouldn't because the reputation was keeping them out.
And get out of there, no doubt.
And they would want to talk fires, and man, it was, I don't know, a missed opportunity if they didn't do it. But,
I say it all the time, like that reputation is just hearsay. It's what guys hear. God forbid a fireman should pass down bad information that they heard from three other guys that heard it from somebody else that heard it from this guy, right?
Right.
So, yeah, it never happened.
What's that?
Who was your favorite guys working there? If you think back, like early on, who were your guys? Like,
well, man, they were all good. I mean, Dave Arcieri, Mike Pincent, Louis Bauer, Danny Libretti. They were my chauffeurs. Danny died 9/11, rescue too.
Was
Awesome.
Hoeing there then? Hoeing was there, right?
Gary Hoeing, yeah. Gary came on to class after me. He might have busted my balls once.
He's a tough. I was thinking about getting him on the show. I'm like, I don't think so, man. He's a tough son of a bitch, man.
I had Woody from the engine, Dwayne Wood.
Dwayne Wood, yeah.
You know
he's
Dwayne?
a rescue too, right?
Yes, I think he's a senior guy.
Long
right?
time. Yeah, long time.
Well, we went to a water leak. He's got the can, and maybe I shouldn't be telling you this. Whatever. We're squeezed into the elevator. In Gary's mind, as we're leaving, we spent way too much time in this apartment trying to solve the water leak issue. So in this little elevator, all of us are squeezed in there. Gary's on the other end, and he is hammering me for having stayed too long. And Woody just looks up at me and says, "You want me to handle this, Chief? Cap?" I said, "Yeah, I do, Woody, but whatever. We didn't. Just Gary. All busting Gary."
I was going to say you never had that problem with Joe Treasure, I'm sure.
Oh, Joe. No, Joe is awesome. No, they're all awesome. Gary, the drills he ran, he was an awesome fireman. Gary really.
Yeah, he was great.
With the tools, good chauffeur. Get him on. He'll tell you a couple of driving stories.
Talk about Dom. How was Dom? Tell everybody about Dom.
Dominic Carino. Well, what did they used to say? The Johnny guys. Well, Dom would drill you for 9 hours or 15 hours. Dom worked straight tours, but it was all solid material. He wanted to make you the best you could possibly be. And it was intimidating for people that didn't know Dom. I mean, I love Dom. A solid guy. I remember annual inspection. We're getting ready to clean up the firehouse, and Dom says, "What are we doing, Cap?" I wasn't even his captain, and he's asking me, "What are we doing?" And, great guys. I'm telling you.
Firematically, I don't think I ever met anybody like him.
Dom?
Yeah, nobody.
His drill. He would give drills on the standpipe kit. And the truck would want to listen to this because they'd have control whenever they worked in 90 anyway. So they wanted the standpipe kit down. And they were awesome. He was truly an excellent engineer. His father was on the job, right, Dom?
I believe, yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, over on 135 or 286 or something.
I think so.
His father was in Rescue 2 with my father-in-law.
Really?
Yeah. No, he goes way back.
Ruffy, where did you feel where your life was more in peril? Sitting in the front while 103 was driving, or sitting in the front while 90 was driving?
Definitely 290. Well, I came on with Al Kessler, so you were there with Al out there, yeah, the hinge. So he was again. I never felt uncomfortable with Dom driving or Dickie Frayne or any of those guys. It was always when guys tried to drive like those guys that I felt they could get out of control a little bit. And every once in a while, I didn't like to say it, but there were a few times where I said, "Oh, pump the brakes a little bit, dude. You're little." I felt like you were overcorrecting, like he was out of control a little bit, So not too often, but it did happen, especially for some bullshit thing, riding out for a car accident on the belt or going to Starrett for. Dude, you know how far Starrett was on Penn,
Pennsylvania,
to go all the way down to Starrett, full throttle. Through Linden Boulevard, it was just incredible how many times we went down.
Without touching the brake, you mean?
Chief, how many times did you go down there in 24 hours?
It's true. Starrett, we got a lot of work out of Starrett, but we had a lot of bullshit runs too. But we had some 5-mile round trips, right? If you went all the way to the Bell Parkway and you turned around across Bay Boulevard, it was friggin' 5 miles.
Yeah, it's such a huge area, like you said. And the best was when I was SOC trained when I went there. So 175 was SOC support.
Right.
So they would hire me there, and I would go there, and I would have the radio on, and 103 would be like, "Oh, you got a water leak over here. Oh, you got a gas leak over here." And they would be, and we wouldn't even move, and they'd be circling us, like going like this, and I would just sit there, and literally 2 hours after dinner, I would catch a top floor job. They would come as the fast truck or something, and I'd give them the finger as I was walking out of the building. It was just always perfect. I mean,
175's got a great run to work ratio, bro.
Yeah.
They really do. They're like 102, right? 102's got that
perfect spot.
Yep. Then you go and get promoted again in 2000 to BC. You do that studying thing again, and you get assigned to Division 3. But you're not there a long time, right?
22 years. Oh, wait a minute. In Division 3? Before I go to Battalion 8, right?
Yeah.
Well, it was 9/11. I took Tommy DeAngelis' spot. He died in 9/11.
So that's why you went to Battalion 8?
Yes.
I see.
Yeah, Jimmy Wendling was the commander. He called me, he asked me if I would take the spot. Absolutely would. I mean, I never had that Midtown experience before. And it's
a whole
challenging.
Different world, right?
Oh man, you feel like a probie all over again as a chief, trying to learn that stuff, and especially since I kind of skirted it my whole career. But it was excellent.
Chief, when you got promoted to BC, was that when your sons got promoted too? Was that time, or that was later on?
No, when I made DAC, Shane made lieutenant.
See if we had that pick.
Yeah, which we were told that was the first time a father and son ever got promoted on the same ceremony.
Oh shit! I didn't know it was the same order.
Yeah, same order, same ceremony. No, that's the picture of when Shane came in. Okay. I'm a BC there, but Shane is a Pro B. The next guy is my brother-in-law, Lee Rodriguez, 105, and then that's my father-in-law. He had a uniform, so he had his picture taken.
Wow, and he was a DC, you said, right? He
was the division commander in the first, right? When he got
out. First.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That guy looks familiar in 105. I was in 210. How long is he in 105?
Well, from 77 to 92, he got hurt. And he only was able to do 15 years, and he had to get out. And, so that's his retired uniform, too.
Oh, wow.
He already had a job. But,
so you're Chief. No,
that's battalion chief.
Right. Okay.
Wait. That's Scott as a Pro B. I'm sorry. He's the middle guy. The 124 captain, that was his Pro B graduation.
He's the youngest guy, so he graduated Pro B.
Right.
And now he's he leapfrogged the other guy. He's a captain. The other guy's lieutenant.
Right.
Oh, it's horrible when the younger brother does better than the older brother. It gets me.
Well, Shane's okay with it. He's still on the captain's list, but that's probably going to die.
So this is when
you know what I mean.
Yeah. What's the one guy? The one guy's at 175. That's terrible. I don't know if I can handle that. That's terrible.
Yeah, 175.
I guess when you get promoted to DC and you're assigned to Division I, then you've had 6 years in the 8th, right?
Right.
So you kind of picked up on working in Manhattan, or?
Oh, absolutely. What Jimmy Wendling said to me when I first got there, well, actually before 9/11, I'm trying to think when it was. Anyway, there was a bit, 2000. It was October of 2000. I'm a new chief, and we catch a fire on 8th Avenue. It's on the 8th floor, and there was no sign of any fire except one window showing all the way around on the backside. Nobody saw it except 4 trucks, but we didn't know. It was a fireman killer fire, I'm telling you. We were just into that part where the battalion chief first will stay in the lobby, and the second chief will go upstairs. And so Charlie Williams was the 9th. He's in the lobby. He says, Jack, the panel in here, the fire alarm panel isn't showing anything, but they're telling me there's a fire on the 8th floor. And then right after that, we hear 4 truck or the engine give a 1075. And this is a high-rise commercial, not a big one, but anyway, it turned into a friggin' fiasco, absolute fiasco. Jimmy Hodgins, was the chief of training, right? He came in, I don't know what battalion he came in on, but he was my fire sector chief. I'm on the building only had one stairwell and an exterior screen stair. I'd never seen this before. Ran the whole length of the building. I think the building might have been 15 stories. And that's where they stretched the line off of after the outside fire escape onto the fire floor and then in. It was smoke to the floor. The heat in the public hallway was incredible. I had no idea. I knew the companies that should be up here. I couldn't get any reports on where they are. And I'm in this smoke-filled hallway doing the captain thing, where I should have been back in the clean air as a chief trying to take control of it through communications. And guys are hitting me in the head as they're self-evacuating because of the heat. I give a mayday for everybody to back out. Charlie Williams hears that mayday. Holy shit. I used the wrong term, right? That's an urgent backup, saying mayday. Right. Then I never canceled the mayday once we got everybody back. It was a fiasco of a fire. And thank God we didn't lose anybody, really. Oh, 4 truck pulls past me and says, Chief, I can't find my Pro B. Well, the Pro B came down the hallway and went right past us. Nobody saw him. It's like, but it worked. It worked.
Said a couple of Hail Marys after that one.
Holy shit, I was sick as a dog after that one. You don't wear your mask, in this smoke. And, oh, my God. What a fire. If you ever have Hodgins on, he'll tell you about it. It was a tough fire. But the guys did great.
Where is he now?
It's so tough, man. Just for what you said, you don't even know you have a job. Guys are going up, and the building is as big as a city block. You don't even know where the exposures are. You're concentrating on everybody to give you a decent report, and those guys, it takes forever to get into position. It's just nothing good. Like you said, nothing good ever really seems to come out of those things because it just takes so long. And we have the manpower.
We have the manpower. It's true. You talk to guys around the country, and we're talking about our problems, and they go, "Give me a fucking break. You got 1,000 fires."
You got a third alarm there. You got like 200 guys there.
It's true. And plus, you're so far as the chief. You're so far away from the operation itself. You have to keep reminding yourself for relief. You're counting on the reports coming down so that you can relieve those guys, or at least send the relief up for them. Engine 8, there was a fire on Fifth Avenue and somewhere way up. It was actually, I forget, Spitzer, the governor, Spitzer, remember him?
Yeah, Spitzer.
Yeah. I think it was his father's law firm. It was a high-end spot, and it was friggin' roaring in the middle of the day. And when I got there, Engine 8 was already in. I look up and I see just a little flame surrounding, like enveloping the window, nothing coming out. And I'm thinking to myself, curtains? No, it was wind driven. The flame the smoke couldn't come out. It was going in. They took a beating like you wouldn't believe, right? And I'm still down in the lobby with the deputy, and then out of the elevator comes Engine 8, and oh my God, they were so smoked up. I thought, oh, get your clothes off. It was June or July. It was so hot. You don't realize how bad it is because you're not that close, and you're supporting the operation. It's a challenge, but it's good.
It's funny because I talked to Corrado, Nicky Corrado, quite a bit now. I don't talk to him as much, but we came through the job. Obviously, he went a lot further than I did, but he always tells me about these jobs and what I think and what and I tell him, I don't know how the guys do it. Like you said, it's tough. They don't go. I'm not saying they don't go to a lot of fires. It seems like they're doing more lately, but they just go to less fires than maybe other places. But when you get those jobs, you own your money, man. You know what I mean? So about Chinatown,
getting your balls kicked in there, no doubt.
And the deep. What always amazed me was the engines and the hose stretches. This is a portable pipeline that you're literally putting together in seconds, really. That first fire, I had an 84 engine, the top floor of a big H type, all the way down at the end of the friggin' wing. We emptied the bed to make that stretch. It's incredible how long the stretches are. And they do it. They just do it. It's amazing.
After you stretch, you got to operate the line.
Yeah, that's true. It's exhausted, right?
Yeah.
2.5. Forget it, man. In 90-degree weather, and oh my goodness gracious, God, we do it like you said. We do it. We got the guys.
You know why? You want to know why? Because that's what men do. You know it. That's what men do. Where do we go? We went to DC, so you get assigned to Division 1 in 2007. I was saying that because you went from Battalion 8 to Division 1, so I guess you kind of like Manhattan, or you just they put you there, or?
Well, I wanted to say in Division 3 you can't do that, so I went to 1, but I had 29 years on the job at that point, and I truly felt that I had a nice career. I ended up in places I liked, right? So I figured they're going to ask me sooner or later to do something offline, and I'll do it. What the hell? I got 29 years, right? And they did. They asked me to work on a radio, the ARCS program, for using the radio systems that are built into buildings when we come in.
Like the repeaters and all that?
Yeah, the repeaters and all. So we did, and I worked on that for a month with Paul Cresci and Ronnie Spatafora. And after that, I was able to get a UFO in Division 3. I don't know how that happened, but I got it. And I was there until August, and I was finishing up the report for that radio project we were on, and I was sitting in the office next to Pat McNally, who was the chief of operations. And at the time, Tom Galvin, the chief of training, his plate was more than full, and he kept asking for help. So Pat came in and said, Jack, would you mind coming offline and working for Tom for a while? I said, sure. So I don't know. You haven't had Tom Galvin on yet, right?
No.
That his name's been floated around, and who was saying that he talked to him about coming on roughly? We had somebody who said,
yeah, Ricky Bruno, right?
Oh, could have been Bruno. Could have been Kilduff who said that.
Oh, okay, killed off too, right?
Right, that said
Right.
we should have Galvin on, but
Yeah.
we'll
Well,
work on it.
Tommy, interesting man. I said once if he ran for president, I would vote for him because he could definitely do the job.
That's
It's just-
he's workaholic, right? He's just a working guy, right? And just
Yeah, but he understands what he's doing. You know what I mean? Whatever project he gets into, he learns about all the parameters of it first before he tries to start to control it. Excellent. Yeah, workaholic, excellent guy. Although the Friday that McNally asked me to work, Tommy took off that day. So I couldn't see him. It's at headquarters, right? He says, well, just show up at 6 o'clock Monday because that's when he starts. So I show up, shirt and tie, 6 a.m. I walk into, nobody's in headquarters yet except Tommy's lights on. I look in the office, shirt and tie, working away, piled up to here, his desk. And I look up and said, hey, Tom, I guess I'm with you. He goes, goes right back working again. Thanks for the heartfelt welcome, Tommy.
Yeah. Felt the love there. Felt it.
Felt the love. But I tell you, I worked for him for 7 years, and it was an awesome experience working for him. It just made you a better person working for him.
Now, what year was that, Chief? Because I don't have that on here.
Well, no, 77. I think 2007. I think I went to Fort Totten.
Fort Totten.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, Tommy. Fort Totten. We have a lot of fire facility at Fort Totten.
Mhm.
So do the cops. So does the military, and so does the parks, city parks. Well, the fire stuff that's over there, they needed a boss. They had a civilian there running it. It wasn't working out, so they wanted a fire chief. And Tommy, I don't know how it ended up on his plate, but he says, fuck it, I'll do it. So now he took on something else besides all the training and EMS training and
wow.
he had everything, but he needed somebody there because of the stuff that would go on a day-to-day. He needed a chief there. So he had a civilian. That civilian was being retired, I guess, and I actually took a civilian's job. But it was kind of weird to come from the field and take a job like that, but
Right.
good experience. Was that? What's that?
It's like you're in the country when you go there,
Oh my
right?
God!
Yeah.
Oh, the commute. It was 6 lights, traffic.
Yeah, that's
It
great. That's great.
was great. But out of Fort Totten, they had the EMS Academy there, and then we had like building operations. We didn't have Queensboro there yet. I forget the other. Anyway, Flips was there. So they needed, they needed at least a battalion chief, but it was better to put a deputy chief there. And plus, any problems I came up with that I found, I gave them to Tommy, and he's a pit bull. He gets shit done. And all of a sudden, there was now support coming to Fort Totten, especially for fire prevention was there. The district officers, and they could get no help, with the buildings or whatever their issues were.
Right.
So it worked. But while I was there, Tommy started giving me projects, and the Governor's Island project where we burned those buildings for the fire dynamics.
Wind-driven
That was-
stuff.
Yeah,
I think Tracy was in on it, right? Tracy.
Tracy. Did you have Jerry on yet?
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, that must have been great. I didn't see. I
Yeah,
have to watch it. Oh, he's an unbelievable guy.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, the BISP unit that started there. So many things. I don't know. I should have read my notes. But anyway, it was a good spot. And then Steve Garrity, who was a battalion chief, was running the Rock. And he had done it as a favor. He was there like 5 years, 6 years. And he wanted to get back to the field. So they asked me to take it. I said, sure. And so
What year was that?
That was 2010.
10.
Yeah, so that's how I remember you, Chief, because that's when I remember seeing you. Because I came back from 103, I moved upstate, and in 2009, 2010, I came to the rescue school, and I did a year stint in the rescue school. So it's nice to see Dom was working there for a while. I think he was doing, he was doing engine ops or doing something there. And that's why I remember seeing you there. And I was trying to figure out the years, you know.
Right. Okay. All right. Dominic ran that engine operations class for the senior chauffeurs.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Now, here's something about Dominic, right? He runs this class for senior chauffeurs. So you could have 20 years as a chauffeur in an engine company, and you're coming for retraining, and you're probably feeling like, come on. Every guy walked away with something. That's how good Dominic was. Yeah. And it was hands-on, too. It was classroom in the morning, hands-on in the afternoon. And
I think Varenji, I used to see Varenji there was there a lot, too.
He did the class, too, because he was the sidekick, right? And then he would do
it. Great chauffeur.
Yeah, John was awesome. Awesome guy. Yeah. But The Rock, that was an awesome experience, too. But you would need to give me 4 more hours.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's too much.
Now, there's 2 chiefs there, right? There's a chief in charge of the
the chief, right? That was me, the deputy, the DAC. He's got the academy. It used to be the chief of training was at The Rock, but then as the chief of training took on more responsibility, it didn't work being out of headquarters. He needed to be at headquarters. So if he was in charge of EMS, he was in charge of all of this stuff. So the battalion chief ended up there. Actually, Galvin could give you a better history of it, but Nick Santangelo, that name?
Yeah.
He was put in charge of The Rock as a battalion chief by, I forget the name of the guy who was a civilian that they brought in. Bonus and brought him in to create the Fire Academy. The idea was the quality of training that was going on at The Rock and the amount of training that we should be able to make an academy out of it and get a degree out of it. Mm. And they were going in that direction, so they brought an educator.
I remember that, yeah.
What was his name? Can you remember his name? I can't remember his name.
Anyway. I do remember. I remember if I could see his face, that guy.
Yeah, little guy.
Yes.
Right. So they put Nicky Santangelo, the BC, in charge of The Rock, and just The Rock, and this guy was the head of training. Well, it didn't really work out. As the years went on, it didn't work out. You need a uniform in charge of training. And as it turned out, so they fired that guy, and they brought in Tom Galvin. And,
I remember that.
But he stayed at headquarters.
Too. Chief Bro was doing the tactical, I think.
He was doing tactical. Yeah, I had 5 battalion chiefs working under me when I was there. And tactical was one of them. Kobe School, another one. Steve Sullivan. I don't know.
Yeah.
So you have a chief in charge of training.
When I was there, yeah.
Chief in charge of training. I think Chucky Dowdy just got that, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, he's in charge of training, and you have a chief in charge of the academy, right? Who's
correct?
Down there. Right.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, the 4-star chief is the chief of training. This like the department is. You got the chief of department, and then under him you got the chief of operations, chief of training, chief of fire prevention, and then under them are all the rest of the job. So under the chief of training would be me, EMS chief of training. I don't know who that is now, and then his other. Sorry, I'm having a brain freeze.
I don't remember.
Who was it? Dan Fitton was the chief of training when I was there, but no, it's good. And then in The Rock itself, you got that DAC who's in charge of The Rock and everything there, and then you have 5 battalion chiefs. 4 are in charge of the different, bunch of different training areas. Tactical, Kobe School, ERP, and then there was a chain. My XO was a battalion chief, so it comes out to be 5.
Right. So I think Lee was actually the charge of The Rock. Frank Lee was in charge of The Rock.
He was the DAC. No, Frank is the chief of training now, right? Isn't he?
No, I think Chucky Downey got it. He's acting chief of training. Lee is acting chief of training right now.
Okay.
So I don't know what's going to happen there. So
okay.
You know how that works, right? I don't know.
I know. You never know.
You never know.
You see it on the order.
Right. So your sons. Let's just talk about your sons quickly before we get to the old school tip of the day. Your one son is a captain in 124, right? Where was he a lieutenant at?
He was a UFO lieutenant in 176.
Hold on a minute. I see.
And he was a fireman. Where was he a fireman?
Where was he a fireman?
What you got to do is be in the right place at the right time.
Where was he a fireman?
58 truck.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's up in the Bronx with the Prince. Joe Principio was the captain of 58 truck.
Then he saw the light. He says, I got to go to Brooklyn. You know where it was. You know where it was.
And the guy from 175, where was he a fireman?
26 truck.
26. Look at this. Look at this.
I know.
Look at this guy.
Come on.
I don't know how that happens. Good for you.
Charlie
bless.
Roberto. Charlie Roberto was the captain of 26 truck when Shane got there, which was good because you know what I did? I called the chief of the chief of personnel and said, who can take a probie? And he gave me the list of guys. And then I just called the captains to find who would take my son. And I didn't want them where I worked. You know, let them go do their own careers.
You went like this. Hey, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
Maybe you want to bring my son over there. I don't know. Maybe do this. Pete, play the music, Pete. You know what I'm saying.
I'm about to.
Here it comes.
Take it off. You can't refuse. That ain't coming.
Happen like this.
Yeah.
Charlie Roberto. This is Jack Mooney. Maybe you do this favor for me, and down the road I do a favor for you. You're taking my son, you're taking my boy Shane, and you put him in a 26 truck.
26 the truck, come on.
26 the truck. What do you mean?
You put him in a.
All right, let me just say this.
Wouldn't he go to Cinque first?
No, wait, no.
Shane Scott, I'm sorry, guys.
Are they watching tonight? I'm sorry.
They probably are.
Good for them.
I was about to ask, where did he probie? Rescue 2?
Listen, they know we're idiots already if they watch the show.
Good for them.
Nice.
Yeah. That was good.
Nice.
And Shane's got 20 years on the job now. So
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
That's
He's got 18. Yeah.
That's the dangerous time, Chief. That's the dangerous time, 20 years, because then you could go and go, you know what? I never liked you.
Maybe it's in a Chief's chest that you're poking. I don't know. Maybe.
No.
Allegedly.
Never happened.
Allegedly.
20 years, that's a good mark, man. Once you get there, it's clear.
What about the other guy? What does the other guy got?
Scott, he's got 18.
So one's got 18. What's the other guy got?
20.
Shane's got 20.
Scott's got 18. Scott's the captain.
Correct.
Of the Tonka truck.
Tonka truck, that's right.
Oh,
what an awesome firehouse that is, right?
Oh my, that's a great place.
When we were firemen, when I was a fireman, you only did your overtime and details in your battalion, and then they wanted to balance the overtime, so they sent the high guys out, whatever. So one night tour, I'm in 124. First time out of the battalion, I'm in 124. And like you, Louis, they all had 20, 25, 30 years. The other four guys working, incredible. Treated me like gold. Awesome experience, yeah. They had in the kitchen, next to the wall that adjoined the fire, the engine, the engine had a fire in the kitchen not too long. So they painted flames as if it was coming into this.
That's great.
Good guys.
Yeah.
And David,
They saw some work when Bushwick was burning, huh?
Oh my God!
I was just going to say, I talked to Patty Lee. He messaged me the other day. Long time 124 guy, was my boss in 117. He went out with Schweiger, Mr. Schweiger. So we're trying to see if we could get. He was a long time guy, senior man over there at 124. So
oh really?
Yeah, we got to see. And then what's his name? Danny Schweiger is in 138. I think he's still there now. Mike is in Rescue 2, the other son, and Jimmy Schweiger was with us in 103. You probably had. I must think. I think I got there when you left. I got there in 2002. You left when? In 2000, 2001? Because it was
I left
open.
in 2000.
2000. Politi got the spot after you, right? Correct? Is that right?
Who got it?
Casey Politi.
No. Before Casey, it was Joe, the surfer guy. Sorry, Joe. He's still a lifeguard too. This guy, Joe. I can't remember.
I can't remember either. Then it was Steve Sullivan, and then it was Donnie Schneider.
Right, Donnie Schneider.
Who's the guy now? The guy we see at the show? Who's the other guy that we see all the time at the show?
Oh, with the mustache. What kind of mustache?
Yeah, Ruffy. We see him. He hangs out with the what's his name? But we see him at the shows all the time. He hangs out with the guy with the
Danny, right? Danny.
We see him at the trade shows all the time. He hangs out with Larry. He works for Larry. Big chubby Larry.
Oh, what's his name?
Danny.
Come
on. It is
No,
Danny.
I'll
Danny?
think.
I can name that captain. I can name that captain in 2 notes.
I'll call you at 3:00. It's Florenco.
Florenco, right? Danny Florenco. Danny, right? I've been calling him Danny.
Yeah, I said, I'm going to call you at 3 a.m. I'll let you know what it is.
There you go. All right, Pete, are we at that time?
Yes, it is about that time, and it's hold on.
What are you doing on there? What are you playing games on there?
Yeah, I'm playing games. No, sorry guys. It's time for the old school tip of the day. Take it away, Chief.
Okay. I don't know if these are tips, but I got 2. One of them is an old timer said to me once, as a boss, take care of the men and the men will take care of you. It's so true. Because what you're doing, it's not just what they need, but you got to make sure that the ship is heading in the right direction. And it's the respect that's involved here. Like you don't walk in as a boss and expect it to be respected as the boss. You'll get it, but you're not getting the true respect. You have to earn the respect of each guy you work with. And the way you do it is by showing them that you're there for them. It's a simple way of thinking about it. It makes your job as a boss much, much easier, I think, anyway. But for leadership or management, if you want to call it management, it was always my philosophy. It worked for me, and it'd be good. You see a lot of guys doing it. It'd be good if everybody did it. And the other one is it's a simple one also. In 102, we had a fire in a vacant factory. And we ended up forcing entry off the sidewalk of exposure 4 side of the building, corner building. Hard door to get open, the steel heavy doors. And behind us is a power saw, revving up behind me. And then we finally got the door open and everybody's like ganged up. So we just jumped into this smoke-filled area and started searching as if it was a tenement. And it was a big open area, it turned out. Full of crap, but a big open area. And it didn't take me long to realize, I have no bearings. So I go to a wall and I'm going to work my way back to the front door and start over again, maybe hopefully find the boss and the cameraman. And I don't. I end up getting lost in what seems to be like a closet area. I'm thinking, damn. And now I can't hear anybody. And I bump in to the boss, a covering lieutenant. And we established good. I got my irons guy. He still doesn't have his can man. And he tells me, be quiet. And it's like, all right, I'm not doing anything. He says, no, hold your breath, be quiet. And so we had our masks on. So we're both there in the smoke, holding our breaths. What he was doing was listening. He was trying to get bearing, some noise that will give him the hint on which way to travel. And way off in the distance, he could hear, we could both hear, the hand line operating. They came in from the other side, right? We came in from the side of the building. So now we start stumbling our way towards that. But it stayed with me with that. And I used that at least a half a dozen times throughout my career as a company officer or a firefighter. When you're searching or you find yourself alone, to just hold your breath, you get to calm a bit, but you can't get your bearings anymore because what you're feeling you can't recognize. You can't see because it's down to the floor. So what you got left are your ears. Use your ears, get your bearing, and you'll get through it, hopefully. But that's my tip for the day. Sorry, guys. Simple as it is.
Bravo, Chief.
Bravo
on a great career, and keeping the job alive with your sons. I'm sure they're making you proud. Awesome job, and thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. Great stories. Love it.
Thank you very much. I truly enjoyed this, guys. Soaking wet, but I truly enjoyed it.
221, 102, maybe you hit a little bump in 103. Chief, DAC, came on the Salty Podcast.
Now
Yeah.
we do the same thing with Galvin. If maybe you can shoot Galvin's number over to Roofy over there, we can work on him a little bit.
It's good
All
while
right.
it lasted.
Well, I know Ricky Bruno's already working on them again. I saw
Oh,
it
he
in his
is?
text.
All right,
Yeah.
good.
Bruno's coming on Monday night.
Is he?
We're having
have
we're having a we have a thing called Random Thoughts that we just started. We have 3 guys: Rick Bruno,
Bobby Sarno.
Bobby Sarno, and Timmy Klett. We're going to talk random thoughts about engine ops. So it should be a good show.
And the clitoris. He's going to show up.
Clitoris is going to show up. The Wizard of Water, the Bro of H2O is coming on. We got him coming on. Excellent.
Good.
Pete, you had a shout out, Pete.
Yes. Does anyone else have a shout out first? No.
I'll wait because I don't have.
I got what now we'll talk about. It'll be quick, but go ahead, Pete.
All right. Well, this is a really cool one. I'm going to play the video while I'm reading what our bro Joey Sperber sent us. So Comac FD, Comac out here, next town over, made a grab the other night. So it's on April 22, and actually not the other night, 2022, just after 3 a.m., the Comac Fire Department was alerted for a house fire with occupants trapped on Penfield Drive in East Northport. Upon arrival, Third Assistant Chief Chris Chiacco, a heavy fire condition was present throughout the 2-story private dwelling. Assistant Chief Chiacco entered the home without the protection of a hose line and passed 2 rooms of fire and entered a first-floor bedroom where he found an elderly female semi-conscious and was able to pass her out of a window into the arms of 2 2nd Precinct Suffolk police officers. So I guess we'll see him do that with this footage. With the information that the second victim was still inside the home, Assistant Chief Chiacco continued to the 2nd floor where he found an elderly male. With the assistance of firefighter Jerome Quigley, the male was successfully removed via ground ladder from the 2nd floor window. And then I'll show you the pics after. What makes the rescue come full circle was the fact that the husband and wife, Harold and Evelyn Cohen, made a full recovery and were able to surprise Assistant Chief Chiacco at the July department meeting, thanking him along with the entire fire department. So hold on, here he is.
No, this is a guy on the engine, I think, Pete. I don't think this is the guy making a grab.
Let me see what he said about the video here. Hold on a second. Oh, this is footage from the night, though. That I do know.
This is not the guy making a grab.
No, apparently not.
They already got not water on the fire here.
Let's see what it says here. Helmet cam footage from the Comac fire I was telling you about. All right, yeah, that's it. Yep.
Yeah.
And then hold on a sec here.
Would have been groovy if they had the guy making a grab.
I thought that's what he said, but it came in right before the show, so I was scrambling to get it up. There it is. All right, these boys doing work, and then just really quickly, because I told them I would very, very quickly show this, but this is the cool part right here. Here's shots of the chief, and then finally the elderly couple he saved.
Oh, wow, he's a young guy.
Yeah, making it over there, and
good job, fella.
Yeah, nice work, Comac Fire Department. These guys are right next door to Dix Hills, where I'm at. So
you don't got to be paid to save lives, bro. I can tell you that.
That's right. That's right.
Very nice, boys. Very nice.
Yeah. Good.
Comac.
That's good that they have them out there, Pete, because they'll run into the fire and you'll run away from the fire.
I'm running away, bro.
Job.
Always
good
running
job.
away.
Yeah.
You know that.
Good
and I know.
job.
Hey, listen, my whole family's out in Comac, so my nephews and nieces. So yeah,
all right,
man, it means
excellent.
a lot.
Good job, Comac. Roof,
Chief,
what do you got?
We're going to just run out some stuff, and then we'll say our goodbyes after everything. All right?
Okay.
Anything with you?
I got something. I want to talk about. We sent out the invitations. We are having a Gettin' Salty cruise, a night cruise. We're going to film a show. A friend of the show's, Randy Simon, owns the John J. Harvey fireboat, in which the Gettin' Salty crew are taking all past members of the FDNY have come on the show. Chief Mooney's invited. We invited, I think, 57 of the former guests. We're going to do a cruise around the Statue of Liberty, have some food, have some booze, and have a great show. Pete's going to film it, and it's going to be an awesome show. So that will be August 6th. I don't think it's going to be a live show, Peter, but we'll probably film it and then edit it. So
yeah,
coming
we'll shoot some segments out with people. We'll maybe get some stories from everyone and put it all together into one longer video.
Some of the greatest firemen ever all together on one cruise.
The internet's going to be a little dodgy out there. So
hope Chief Mooney can make it. Excellent stuff. And we didn't tell Pete, but drinks are on Pete. Pete, that was so nice of you. Good job, Pete. Thank you.
That's what I do. That's what I do, guys. You know,
Nice. Very nice.
If you think you've seen me run at fires, you never see me run at the bill.
Oh, we have. Me and Louie have.
Hey, man.
All right, that's all I got, guys. I could get. We have random engine thoughts on Monday night.
Excellent.
So have a
and
great
next
weekend.
Thursday there's no show, but we come back. I'll be in Hotlanta for 3 days.
Hotlanta. All right.
Hotlanta,
excellent.
making beautiful pictures.
Dynamite. All right, guys. We'll see you on Monday night. Have a great weekend. Once again, Chief, thanks for coming on.
Hold on, we got to run it out.
What?
We got to run out our end credits.
It's killing me.
Oh, hurry up, Pete. Go.
All right, real quick. Audio, guys. Find us on iTunes, Podcast, Spotify, all the players. If you're on youtube.com/Gettin Salty Experience, hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Instagram, find us at Salty Dog Inc. GettinSaltyApparel.com is how we pay the bills. Go get yourself a cool t-shirt. We have them all. Super chat, guys. Thank you for hooking us up. Anyone who's watching now in the super thanks, we also appreciate it. All your support is important. Facebook, Gettin Salty Fans, guys. That is the page. It is hot. Check it out. Do you want to advertise with us? I mean, do you even? Come on, let's go. GettinSaltyAds@gmail.com, the most direct way to get to firefighters right there, first responder audience. GettinSaltyExperience@gmail.com for any questions for our Q&As. And last but not least, CoopsPodcast@gmail.com. If you guys want to contribute any footage or et cetera, to the Cockloffs and Cocktails shows. And that is all the news that's fit to print.
Yes. And Eugene Venezio said that there's a Cooper Graham benefit. You picked that at Oceanside Fire Department Terrace Hose 3. That is Captain Graham's nephew's baby who had cancer. So if you can make it out there, Oceanside Fire Department Terrace Hose 3. All right, guys. Chief, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it, Ruffy. Enjoy your time up there on your little paddle boat in the lake. Have fun. We'll talk to you soon.
Tiny little paddle boat.
Your little dinghy, out on your dinghy. All right, guys. Stay low and go.
Chief, thanks for coming on. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
See you at the big one, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.